Hello, my friend, and welcome to the Day 8 KCM Finals. We're finishing up the first half today. We've got Team Light versus Team Hero. Matchups that they've decided for this week. We've got a couple of mirror matchups as well. One ZVZ and one TVT. How you doing, Shun?
I'm doing pretty good, Sam. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I'm liking the look of this, both lineups. Not quite the finals that I wanted, but I would say the runner-up finals that I wanted. The Team Hero, definitely, I would say, one of the most fascinating teams that we've got besides Lights. Both lineups, absolutely stellar stuff. I like pretty much all of the player choices here. The only two I would say I'm not as sure about would maybe be Ana and Hani, but pretty much everyone else, like, I think is an absolute class pick for both teams.
Yeah, it's still crazy to me that Light managed to pick up Mind, such a seasoned veteran player. I'm sure he's been giving advice to all of these excellent players on Team Light. Ruin is an underdog pick. I think it's a great pickup for him, though. That guy is a crazy good Protoss player and has a bright future ahead. Killer as well on Team Hero. He's also done an excellent job, but has gone with a lot more seasoned players. Sharp and Mong are excellent choices, along with Saxery, who is highly underrated. Is a very good Zerg player that should give Killer a serious run for his money. I'm also looking forward to this Kenenzi versus Ana matchup. Both of our ladies' matches today are PVZ.
Yeah, I'm really looking excited to get into this series here, Sam, and I kind of agree with you about the Saxery's a very good, kind of underrated player in a lot of respects, and he is kind of new to the scene in terms of his popularity. Killer is a very, very talented, aggressive Zerg, very high execution level of player, so we'll be interested to see how those two stack up. I think Killer might find himself in a little bit of a hard way if he wants to just go 12 hatch versus 12 hatch on Tempest. We'll have to see how that pans out, but yeah, I'm looking forward to just getting right into this.
All right, and we're going to jump right into game number 1, Kahiri versus Hani. Let's get it started. All right, our ladies match here to start us off. Going to be on Neo Sylphid with this PVZ. And I was predicting that we were probably going to see a Hydralisk bust. What do you think about that, Shun?
Yeah, it is probably the most likely strategies to see. It is a flat map. It isn't the horizontal expansion opening, so not as optimal for Hydra Bust, but it's still a flat map. And I would say if you're going to do a Hydra Bust, maybe this is one of the maps you would want to do it on. So it's very likely we will see something like that. It is possible to play a normal standard game on maps like this, obviously, but yeah, for some reason, I would say that overall I would expect the Hydra Bust to be more likely in this scenario.
I feel like it's a great map for Hydra Bust because the rush distance is very short. You can really get your units over there quickly, especially if you take your third base at the top left. It's not that scary to have it closer to your opponent as it would be on some other maps, but it does help you to rally forward a little bit faster. We'll see if Kahiri decides to take that base or this base down the bottom left. Hani's going to scout second here. She's not going to be able to block the natural, so things are looking good so far for Kahiri, because her opponent has also gone for the Forge Fast Expand. She's not going to have to deal with any early Zealot pressure either.
Yeah, and getting this early economic lead by going for this hatchery and getting away with it, it's always going to be a nice feeling. Having scouted wrong with this probe, it's going to be a little bit annoying. Maybe could have gone for some kind of a cannon rush, or at least fake cannon rush to force some drones off the line there, but instead just going to be evening things out by getting a Nexus of our own and delaying the cannon as long as possible here, just squeezing out as much value from, delaying the reaction here to the Zergs. Such a later pull timing, pretty much don't need to do anything for quite some time. As long as the cannon starts when the Lings are basically leaving the eggs, you're going to be fine.
And we've got Kahiri here taking the base at that mineral only instead. This is looking more and more like a Hydra Bust to me. I don't really like this base being taken if you're gonna try and go for a long game. I think this is like a fourth base that you're gonna take after kind of taking control of your side of the map and starting to set up lurkers and that type of thing. That can be a strong play, but if you're going to take this mineral-only base, you're just not going to have that extra gas income later on, and you are it's very rallyable from this spot. It's very easy to get your Hydras over towards the Protoss Natural. I think that's what we're going to see here. We'll see if Hani catches onto that, and the main issue here is got to keep that probe alive. That first probe, super important, and it's going to be caught here. Just putting a little damage on that is already annoying, and I think she's probably going to pick that off. Yes, she did get that probe. Saw it on the mini-map, and now Hani is blind.
Yeah, and this is about the time, it's a little bit later actually when you'd want to throw down that den. I was about to say, like, even though, yeah, it is going to be a Hydra bust, even though it doesn't necessarily have to be a Hydra bust, you could still play, like, say, a 6-hatch Hydra play from this position. It's just not optimal transitioning into a late game from that mid-game point. So, yes, obviously, Kahiri could go for, like, lots of Hydras and play a very strong mid-game from taking this Maloney, but what saying is like you kind of limit your options and how you can go from there, so it's kind of like stifling to go for that kind of middle only, and if you're not going to go for some kind of Hydra bust. So yeah, it's going to be some sort of aggressive play here, and denying that early probe scout is going to be huge here in not only getting this build unscouted, but also not even needing to build that many lings in the early game to catch the probe, and not having to show any additional lings, kind of making it seem very normal here, and just showing the early 4 lings and nothing else is going to be very indicative of a very standard opening. And probe now coming over to the 3rd base location to see how many drones are there. There should be only 3 if it's a 973, but Kahiri may decide to make a few more drones over at this 3rd base locations to throw off Hani here.
Yeah, now the lings are going to come forward and see the probe here kind of shoo away this probe. And when you see that lings don't have speed, I think that's going to be a big tip-off, right? Looks like she loses that probe immediately, but you see 3 drones at the natural, or at the 3rd base, excuse me, and you see lings with no speed. You got to start thinking Hydraless bust here. We don't see too many cannons being added on, but we've got 2 so far. She sees the lings coming forward here. That's still not a great tip-off. Here, she's going to see the Hydra. There it is. Hydra has been revealed. That's an important moment here, but only 2 cannons and a 3rd warping in. She needs to pull off gas right now and start hammering down cannons as quickly as possible. Still, even if she does, I'm not sure she can hold on here. Definitely needs to put these cannons, or put more cannons behind this, because you're never going to be able to save the cannons at the front if you start warping them in there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Kahiri decides to pull the trigger on just making non-stop Hydras here, or if we will be seeing a transition into drones and just trying to force as many cannons as possible. It looks like so far we are seeing a full Hydra committal for the time being. It looks like Kahiri's in no rush to end this aggression, but a lot of cannons being thrown down by Hani, and very slowly this wall is being whittled away, and a lot of cannons being thrown down behind us. We may see the drones start to come out now, as a condition of transition becomes open with how many cannons will be made, and maybe going for the bus will just become not the greatest of ideas here. Instead, we'll be taking this 4th base location in the bottom middle here. The Corsair's going to be seeing that right away, so maybe can be investing a little bit less into this defense here while quickly transitioning into Templars.
This is very confusing to me. We saw 700 minerals in the bank during a Hydraless bust. Was there some sort of Overlord kill, some sort of, supply block that happened there? It just seems like you should never have that much money when you're trying to Hydraless bust, but we've still got no more drones added on here at the 3rd base, and I'm so curious why she chose to take that base down in the bottom left instead of the base in the top left.
I think I know why.
Yeah, what happened?
I think she's doing a fake transition. I think she wanted to telegraph a transition, but it's actually a Hydra bust. Like, she's trying to sell Hani that it's a transition.
Alright, she's gonna try and break through. Oh my god, this is a lot of Hydras, man. I think you might be right. Gonna jump on top of these cannons here. The probe's being pulled out, but not really blocking the Hydras from actually getting on top of these cannons. Only 3 cannons remain. This is so many Hydras. And yeah, you're totally right. She just busts right through this, and it crushes all of these probes. That Templar going down without getting a single storm off. Pretty brutal. And this game is over, man. No way to recover from here.
Yeah, it's a really great little double bluff there, like kind of like making it seem like you're going to transition, but really you're just like pulling Hydras the entire time and eventually hit them with a critical mass right before Storm hits. Yeah, really great execution from Gary there.
Yeah, that was a lot of cannons to break through, but not having the Storm, just hitting that timing right before Storm is pretty nice. I feel like a more experienced Protoss player would have seen the number of drones and been like, hey, you're not actually transitioning, are you? But able to pull the wool over the eyes here of Hani, and Yahiri taking away that first win for her squad. We're going to jump into game number 2. Okay, on to the main course here. We've got Ruin versus Mong. One here on Retro. And this is interesting. We've got Mong, who's been around for a very long time. He is a seasoned veteran. He's been to multiple ASLs. He is a pillar of the community, a very funny guy. And he's taken on Rune here, who is really an up-and-comer. He's someone who we've been taking a look at. We've been watching him. He's had mixed results, but I think he's just getting better and better.
Yeah, Mong's been around for a very long time. I mean, since around early Kesper days. He's an ex-CJ Enters player, but going to be denying this gas being stolen as well by Ruin early game. And Ruin does have this, going to be going for the mana pylon as well. But Ruin does have this like lower ground gateway. It's going to be a little bit annoying when he comes on and puts some pressure onto Mong. Already being super annoying with this probe, getting as much damage on his SV as possible. Mong's obviously an experienced enough player to be able to react appropriately to this, but he is feeling the pressure already, is Mong. And yeah, it would be interesting to see how these two players stack up. Ruin's definitely way better in, say, PvP than he is PvT, but he's still a very talented player. Oh, he might get this probe. Sand particle beam, not able to connect with that SCV, trying to slide back into the mineral line for safety, but not able to do so. Gets the shutdown on that SCV. 1 kill already. First blood to Ruin in this matchup zone.
Damn, that was really impressive. Getting those hits off with that probe, the particle beam, with the long arm of the particle beam there, just reaching out and snagging that kill. This pylon also delayed a lot of SCVs from mining for quite some time. That was really good. And another one gonna come down here. Plus we have the Zealot walking in. This Marine's not gonna be by the wall as the Zealot walks forward here, so he's gonna be able to walk by that wall for free, and he's gonna get up here into the main, maybe getting ready to delay the factory. I really like the positioning here for Mong. He's gonna be able to fight and protect this factory while utilizing the wall as a defense. Great pick off there on the probe to start things, and now this Zealot's been driven away up and towards the main base. He's gonna have to pull some SCVs here to stop this. Don't lose a Marine right now. A second Zealot is on the way. One Marine does go down. Great micro here from Rune so far.
Yeah, really stellar stuff. Taking down that one Marine, and now he's coming in again, maybe getting a deny on this SCV. Not quite able to do so. Does manage to slide off from building there. Gets taken out from the other side though. Great play from Ruin, sandwiching the Marines and SCVs with these low HP Zealots from the flank. Great stuff. He knows his Zealot's just about to die. Finally takes it out with that fusion cutter on SCV. But now delaying this factory even longer is Ruin, doing an absolute stellar job using his early Zealots, and he has no Dragoons out just yet. He's just a pure Zealot for the time being. Eventually will be starting to make up Dragoons trickle, but right now it's just pure Zealot trying to cause as much havoc as possible, and Mong is in a little bit of disarray, not even mining of most of his SCVs half the time.
Ooh, this is rough. You know, as a experienced Terran player, you've definitely felt this type of pressure, you know, a million times before and handled it just so many times. You've got so much practice with dealing with this kind of pressure, but Rune is bringing like a new level here of pressure to this build, dealing so much damage here in the early game. We've killed, I don't even know how many Marines now, like 3-4 Marines at least, and delaying that factory for quite some time, plus killing so many SCVs. Rune here in a fantastic position. Some of these Marines are very low as well. Just one hit from the Dragoon will finish them off, so he's got to be very careful. Mong moving back to the high ground now, because he is afraid of losing all of these. Not a Nexus down just yet, but Rune putting on so much pressure here.
Yeah, he needs the high ground advantage to be able to beat the Zealot and Dragoon right now because of those 2 low HP Marines. So he knows that he's in a little bit of trouble right now. He is trying to be greedy and see if he can sneak in with the Terran Vulture that's just coming into the bridge area now, but Ruin was too clever for that and had a Dragoon waiting while he's taking his Nexus right now. So finally, here comes the move out from Mong. It's going to be like 7 Marines and a tank, but like we were saying, 2 of these Marines are dangerously low on HP, so this is a very soft push from Mong right now, not really as super scary as it could be, and Ruin's going to be feeling fairly comfortable despite having only this one gateway available to him.
Ooh, the Vulture's gonna get picked off here, I think. Yeah, he's got the moving shot. He needs one more hit. No, does not have the range on that Dragoon just yet. Oh, but why did it move like that? Oh my god. The Vulture taking a detour up there to the north ends up losing its life and only throwing down 1 mine. So that's brutal. That really, really sucks here for Mong. And now there's 4 Dragoons here. This is the tank killing force for Ruin. Is he gonna walk into this mine though? Oh, the mine gets picked off as well. That's so painful. Oh, Ruin just moving perfectly here. Oh, but he eats 1 mine. There we go. Oh, that was really close as well. Great job by Ruin just advancing forward here and not taking damage from these mines. Oh, this Vulture can't get by. It's going to run up this ramp, it looks like, but it's just about to be taken out. Oh, great stop with the probe as well, but missing the shot on the Dragoon. Oh, this could be huge. Gets 1 Dragoon. I thought he was going to get more out of that, but does pick off 1 Dragoon there. No kills on these probes for the Vulture, though. Geez, so much action here in this early game. It's really heated up quickly.
Yeah, it's actually crazy stuff. Seeing all these tiny little micro transactions of the units being used by Ruin is very interesting to see. For a moment, they did almost lose too many Dragoons to those mines, but only really ate 1 or 2 big hits, and the rest was this really great mine sweeping and really on the ball. And yeah, beautiful stuff from him all around. Mong's definitely in a little bit of pain right now, and he's definitely not used to having to play a game like this. And Ruin's definitely stretching him to his absolute limit right now, and Mong's gonna be feeling a little bit frustrated, but he is still a very stellar and experienced player, so he's still gonna be very calm and thinking about how he's gonna slowly, methodically get out onto this map and try and give himself the highest win % possible. But he's gonna be feeling a little bit of pressure after the early game.
Yeah, you could see there that Mong was hoping to kind of outperform Ruin with multiple fights going on at the same time, with Vultures trying to slip by as the tanks and Marines were fighting with the Dragoons, trying to get in there and get some real significant probe damage. But Ruin handled everything. He is just doing a great job with his control and his multitasking here, blazing away at 400 APM. He's managed to sweep the mines from the middle now. 1 Vulture getting out here and starting to place mines. What's the follow-up, though, from Ruin? It's looking like a Reaver play. And do you think Mong suspects that? Or do you think he's going to be a little bit caught off guard here?
I think he will definitely consider it. The problem is that Mong might be making a little bit of a cut right now and just like trying to bank on it not being a few builds and trying to basically catch up by assuming it's not going to be certain things. You know, you might take a small risk and say like, okay, I'm going to cut on this and just assume it's not this because I'm going to die either way if I have to make everything. But he is making a few turrets right now. I think he anticipates that it will be some kind of shuttle play into the main base. He probably doesn't understand if that's going to be DTs or Reavers, but he definitely suspects there's going to be some kind of shuttle play. So I think he will be prepared for this.
All right, here comes that shuttle play now. First Reaver is here in the main. Looks like it's going to pick off. Oh my god, what was with that Scarab? That Scarab just stalling out there for quite some time. He's going to get some good shots, though, on the Reaver with the tank. That Reaver's getting quite low. He's going to drop right here in the mineral line. Can he get a good shot? Gets 1 shot, gets 1 kill, but the Reaver gets picked off. Huge, huge win here for Mong.
Yeah, he's dealing with it very cost efficiently thus far, and having killed that high-tech unit, it's a big investment for Ruin to go for the Reaver tech and then not get much damage with it and lose the Reaver. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for Pros players because now he doesn't have this Reaver to also slow down any move out from Mong, so Mong now feels a lot more chill about just coming out onto the map, taking this 3rd base, and just, you know, swinging his weight around a little bit more.
Yeah, the shuttle did disappear. It managed to get back across the map, but it could go ahead and pick up some zealots here and try to break the third. However, I don't think that Ruin is going to be feeling confident to do that right now. He may be just looking to take another base. Could try to take this 12 o'clock. Could try to take a base in the bottom left. We'll see which one he goes for. Mong here stretching himself a little bit thin after that defense. I think it's the right choice, though, grabbing the third base right away here and just preparing for that late game, which he is so well known for. He is a very, very strong late game player. Okay, another Reaver's out here. It's going to pick off this turret, looks like. Not close enough with the tanks, but the setup here is really, really nice for Mong. You know, he's got these buildings out in front. He's got the turret. He's got the tanks here. He's got the Goliaths to shoot down the shuttle just in case that decides to fly in. And Ruin not going to take the risk. He's going to back away after getting that kill.
Yeah, we're going to have Ruin taking the bottom left quadrant as his fourth. And it's a very wise choice from him, I think. Ooh, look, it's going to be Carrier Saiyan. And he's put it down far enough south that a scan in the main probably will not quite see that unless he anticipates needing to scout a little bit further down with the scan. So, yeah, might go on Detective for quite some time. And taking this base in the bottom left, I think, is going to be great for him because it's also going to telegraph to Mong that he wants to set up another rally point, which means it might also blindside him to these carriers just that little bit further. So everything is kind of lining up quite nicely for Ruin going forward, especially if he doesn't. I think, is he going to be smart and make a Cybernetics core hidden as well? Because if he doesn't make the +1 weapons at the Cybernetics core in the main base, and then Monk scans it and sees this not spinning, that's going to really blindside him to the carriers.
I just saw there's 2 Cybernetics cores in the main right next to each other, so he's not really hiding that. He's going to go for double upgrades here and triple. Oh no, wait a second. Okay, that was a forge. I thought that was another Cybernetics core. I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, maybe he will hide that Cybernetics core then. Going for triple. Oh yeah, look at that. The scan comes through. He sees that these are making. Very nice scan here from Mong. We've got the +1 spinning there in the main as well. So Rune not hiding that. And he doesn't need to hide it because Mong's completely spotted everything now. Base down here in the bottom left. This is quite a greedy base from Rune, but I don't think you're going to be able to push down here. Oh, double starport. Oh, going for Cloak Wraith here. He scans his own starports to make sure there's no observer over this, seeing this, and it's all going to come down to one gambit here for Mong. Can he catch all of these carriers with no observer support? And if he does, he can kill all the carriers and probably win the game. If he doesn't, he's going to be in a heck of a lot of trouble.
It's very wise from him to just scan those starports right away and make sure that this is even a tenable position to go for. And if there was an observer, he would have to then like kind of abandon that line of thinking. But knowing that it's unscouted kind of gives him this like pretty comfortable win condition where he can now just kind of double down into this and put himself into a very, very confident position if he can somehow get this going without Ruin kind of smelling it out. And if he does manage to just get on top of the carriers with the race, even just killing all the observers and the shuttles with the race, that alone is a very potent thing. So he can then just come out onto the map and just shut down any kind of counterplay with the shuttles and Reavers slowing down the pushes as well as the race helping out against the carriers. So the race kind of help out in both regards, regardless of what happens here. But if it does go unscouted for quite some time, you will get a real big table flip on Ruin and completely change the course of the game.
I was about to talk about, you know, how this map, we saw this play out, the same sort of build play out last week with the Protoss versus Terran, where we had the carriers and the positions were actually reversed in that situation, where the carrier player was able to sit over the natural and hit the gas, kill the gas, and just be really, really annoying from that position. And Ruin doesn't have that spot here. He's actually in the inverse position here, where he's over at the top left and the Terran's at the top right, so he doesn't really have that option, but he can still hit the main base, and maybe that's where he's going to go, heading straight up and towards the main. And then these Wraiths are going to come out as soon as he comes towards that main base and really start to clean those out, and then Mong's going to have this big push. I'm really liking this for Mong. I think this is going to be the right play. I think that Ruin's going to be completely caught off guard here.
It does seem that way so far, saying I'm curious if it does actually play out that way, but it is lining up to be that case. And so far, most of these vulture raids have kind of fallen on deaf ears, and Ruin's not really, hearing too many troubles about that. So he's not really suffered any losses in terms of like what the vultures have done out on the map thus far. But that doesn't really matter as long as these wraiths do what they're meant to do. It's going to be all that Mong needs. And right now, there's not that many observers in the area as well. So as soon as he comes in here, scans, kills the observers, and just goes to town on these carriers, there's nothing that Ruin can do to save these. So he might just about to lose everything for free. Here he comes now with these 5 carriers with the shuttle support coming in here to 3 o'clock base location. Reaver's dropping down onto the bunker though, and might be a little bit annoying now with the Reavers on the high ground and the carrier support. He needs to come in here with the Wraith soon and make a big play here. Finally, the cloak comes down, does scan, starts to snipe down both of the observers. There's no more observers here. Another scan comes down to confirm there's no additional observers. 1 carrier goes down. There's a few carriers remaining, just 3 carriers, 2 down left. He's basically going to kill all these carriers for free. There's nothing coming in here to save these. There's Reaver going to town on the probe line in here, so he is finally going to catch these raids with an observer coming, but not before losing all of those carriers, saying. So it's a pretty big tempo swing for Mong. He did lose a lot of SCVs at 3 o'clock, but overall I think that's pretty Terran favored.
That was a great play, yeah. Gets all the carriers. However, he lost a lot of SCVs at the third, man. During all of that Reaver was just cleaning up all of those SCVs. He wasn't able to hit from the ramp. He's sitting at the ramp with the there with his tanks, and now 2 more Reavers gonna come in. What? Oh my god,
Wow.
Mong's gonna lose all of his mining here. Oh my goodness, that was a great shot. And Mong shoving forward here, but losing the entirety of his economy behind this. I think Rune may be able to still hold on. Looks like he's going to try and track down this shuttle. If he can catch the shuttle, then he can get rid of both of those Reavers as well. This is great use of these Wraiths. Killing off that shuttle, getting the Reaver as well. Now he's shut that down. He can send his SCVs back to mining. But he's got to make this push work here now. And Rune is completely aware. Oh my god, the big storm there on this advancing tank army. And these tanks are probably not going to be repaired. I don't see any SCVs with this army. So this is getting really scary. Rune got to pull himself together here. Bring these these units from these gateways over here to the front and stop this attack, and he should be able to win from there if he can do that. Oh, gonna lose another carrier here. Second carrier gonna go down as well, kind of sacrificing the race for those, but really big win there for Mong. He's shoving forward towards the natural. Meanwhile, a counterattack here towards the third. He's actually pulling that away now. Maybe gonna send it here to assist at his natural. He's gonna give up the natural, it looks like, Rune, but he's trading for the Terran third base, and he's still got bases down the bottom left to work with.
It is actually working in favor of Mong. He has enough gas in the tank from these 2 mining bases for another minute or 2 that he has slightly enough resources to keep the push going and keep the dream alive, and just barely enough to kind of start to crush the spirit of Ruin. Ruin not quite set up in the bottom left yet, so really Mong actually he's winning in the game state and he's slightly gaining ground as well. And so far, this is really favoring Mong. He is going to be mined out in the next minute or 2 though, so he needs to basically make this work and make this work now. But if he can just in these next few critical moments somehow put the pressure on Ruin and come on top of this production in the top left and start killing him. Here we go. There's some Zealots and High Templars in the main base. A few critical storms can clean up all these tanks, so I think there's just barely enough Protoss infantry that Ruin will be able to back out Mong from this high ground position. There's 2 carriers going to work on these tanks as well. Ruin just barely cling on to life as reinforcing Terran units start to come into the main base. Maybe there's just barely enough from Mong though to overwhelm this position. There's only 1 storm left. High come the vultures to snipe the High Templars as well. Storm kind of being wasted there, so now he's got no splash damage to deal with this Terran army inside his main base zone.
I thought that was going to go a lot better for Ruin there. A lot of those tanks were very low on the HP, and he's actually killing off so many gateways now. We do have gateways down in the bottom left, and Mong is not mining from this third base. He's running out of minerals in the main and natural, so he is going to mine out very soon. But killing the main, of course, is a huge deal. I actually thought that this was a little bit more Rune favored, but now that he's really gotten in here and killed a lot of this main, It's looking better and better for Mong. Looks like, oh, the carrier just barely gonna survive, 13 HP. He's gonna force the army back here in the corner to come out and fight because it doesn't really have anywhere else to retreat to. Gonna take another base over here at the 12 o'clock now. Mong just crushing it here in the main. Ruin not really knowing what else to do. He's gonna send this counterattack force up towards the natural, but he really needs to maybe, you know, set up more Stargates here. Maybe even set up another Robo, get some more observers out, because if another round of Wraiths comes out here for Mong, he'd better have some observers to deal with that. Otherwise, he's just going to lose all of his carriers for free, and that's really the only hope that we have here for Ruin right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I even see that saying. I feel like he just hasn't got enough infrastructure to stabilize in this game. Like, he has these 4 carriers. If they can somehow be leveraged, then maybe he could win, but there's no way the carriers can come out into the open field and actually do much here in this situation. Mong is pretty, I think Mong's got this game in the bag now. As long as he doesn't make any critical blunders, I think he's got it. I think he just needs to make sure he doesn't, he hangs on to his 12 o'clock base at the very least, and then he's got enough infrastructure and production to then keep the push going. Ruin still has these 3 bases in the bottom left, so that he has got quite a sizable production available to him, but he's supply box right now. He doesn't have many gateways. I think he's only just now starting to get those gateways online in the bottom left, so he hasn't really got much army or much income that he can really saturate and build a big enough army to fight Mong head on. So as long as Mong can mobilize his army against Ruin and not get it, he needs to be careful. If Ruin can come up here and just start to take off these tanks in small enough numbers without the Goliaths coming in to save them, then Ruin has some counterplay options here. If he can be very tactful with how he uses these carriers, he can outmaneuver Mong, and that's what we're starting to see here. We saw the tanks get sniped, now the Goliath's starting to get bullied. If Mong could just keep his army together, this wouldn't have happened. So now Mong's in a little bit of a precarious situation because Ruin can come up here and deny mining at 12.
Yeah, he could just go for this command center here, and he may just target that down. Getting rid of this command center is huge. We've got no mining in the main or natural. Just this 3rd base is going to be mining here. So Ruin, he's giving himself the best chance that he's got, or that he can, but this counterattacking force is pretty deadly. I don't know if he can hold on against this. Ruin is in a very tough spot here. He's going to send the carriers back towards his bases to kind of help out with the defense. This is just a pure Goliath army, though, funnily enough. Not really many tanks in here, and he's actually going to cut off some of these reinforcements in the middle of the map. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, there is a pretty sizable arc, though, so those goons have to respect the fact that they will be swallowed up. So he wants to wait, buy time, try and set up a pincer, maybe at the 9 o'clock position. Try and see if he can sandwich the army from the top there with the carriers all at once, but it's still not going to be ideal for him. The Terran will have the advantage in that scenario because of how tight this bridge is. So it looks like Ruin actually might want to come out over the bridge and kind of meet him head on in slightly more open field, with the carriers using this water line as kind of a way of being a little bit safe as he comes in here from the western flank. There's so many clumps of tanks right now, but there's not enough High Templars. If he gets perfect storms, so he might be just beautiful storms in the clumps of tanks to the bottom right. Another good storm on those Goliaths, softening up pretty much this entire army of just a handful of storms here. Only like 2 storms really, are very critically placed, softened up all the tanks and Goliaths, enough for Ruin to come in here and start to clean this forces up. There's a big contingency of Protoss infantry moving up to the 3 o'clock position now. So this expansion is completely undefended as well, so Mong could be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, he is in a lot of trouble right now. Targeting down the command center right now. Going right after that. Mong taps out. Oh my goodness. Ruin smashing there in the end. Damn. That was an impressive game. Ruin almost getting destroyed. Managing to come back. I don't think Shun saw that coming, but he did manage to hang on and give himself a chance in the game by just building a few more carriers there. The Wraith play was excellent. Mong had some fantastic execution, but getting denied his 3rd base for that much time was really, really painful. So much went on in that game. There's so much to unpack there. But we're going to jump into our game number 3. That was That was a fantastic game. Well, here we go with our ZVZ. Probably the only one of the night here, unless we get a roulette spin a little bit later on. Killer versus Saxery. This is the matchup that this duo was made for. Both Zerg players gonna be casting a ZVZ. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to it. At these two players, I would say I slightly favor Killer, just because ZVZ is a very micro-orientated matchup, and Killer definitely has the higher APM and the better micro of the two players. But Saxery's no slouch. Saxery can hold his own, and I think we will be seeing most likely a little bit of deviation from both players. One player going for 9 pool, which this time around is going to be Saxery, and maybe Killer going for the 12 hatch, but maybe not as well. I might be too surprised if Killer wants to be a little bit sneaky and go for a 12 pool here. Would not be too surprised as well. I have a feeling it is going to be a little bit of a 12 hatch versus 9 pool situation, which is what I was saying to you off cast here.
Ooh, there's the pool. All right. Well, Killer gonna get a little bit of a build order edge here in the early game. It's not going to be, you know, game winning or anything like that, but I want to mention that we have seen a lot of late game Zerg versus Zerg recently in both ladder matches, the KCM and I guess in ASL as well. No spoilers, but we did have an ultra game in the ASL, and as much as I would love to see us get to a late game ZVZ here, I don't know if it's gonna happen between Killer and Saxery. I think that will probably end up going and someone will end up making a mistake before then. It's a matchup that is generally bounced on a knife's edge. Killer gonna grab his hatchery here, and his lings are gonna come out a little bit later, but he should be able to hold on to this. Who's gonna end up, you know, coming out ahead in this engagement is really gonna determine whether we can get into a later game or not.
Yeah, I mean, Killer's link speed only just now started, so Saxery's going to have a slightly faster link speed, but with the 12 pool, it does kind of soft counter this timing, and with the Overlord confirming that he's going to know exactly what he's up against and how to deal with it, does get a pretty good concave as well on the initial links, so going to make it really difficult for Saxery to come up here and trade fail. He does get a few good melee hits on these lings as well, it does Killer, so Killer already slightly favored in this matchup, getting a few hits on those lings, buying him some precious time. 2 more lings coming in for Saxery, matching the Killer's 2 additional lings as well. Beautiful service area from Killer, so getting initial snipe on those 2 lings. But Saxery coming with some good snipes of his own, so turning the tables on Killer. Some exceptional ling micro is Saxery, and suddenly coming in and on getting on top of his hatchery. Now Killer in a load of the trouble, having to pull at least 4 drones to come and try and save this hatchery. Killer suddenly in trouble, Sam.
Yeah, suddenly getting the tables turned on him here, and with that ling speed coming in, he's going to be able to snipe some of these drones. We do have more larva here now for Killer, but he is far and away behind in that ling count, and he is going to lose his hatchery. Hatch goes down. His ling speed does finish up, but he's lost drones. He's lost that hatchery, and he has not traded efficiently with these lings either. Getting one last drone here, Saxery, before backing away. He has his Spire on, coming up here, and this game is all but over because Killer has no way to survive this incoming Mutalisk attack.
I'm really kind of speechless, honestly. Like, that's some of the best ling micro I've seen from like a really high tier Zerg for quite some time. Like, he really flipped the script on Killer with the ling surrounds. He got a lot of like good 3-on-1 target fires on individual lings as well. Like, I don't even know how these pro gamers can click on lings that accurately during these engagements, but it's kind of exciting to see.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive. And Saxery's got one ling out here on the map. He's gonna try and slide it in, while, you know, Killer has most of his lings kind of out here in the front. He's gonna be able to get in and at least see that the hatchery is being built. Now he's going to try and slip into the main. He is going to get in there. See that there is no tech here at all. There's no layer. and he doesn't even have that evolution chamber started, so there should be mutas on the way already, and he's gonna try and make a couple of spores and bring this into a late game, but the chances are extremely minimal. Even if he, you know, had saved that hatchery and had kept that alive, kept his drone saturation high, and you know, gotten himself into a good position from there, it still would have been very, very hard. But in this spot, okay, actually gets here into the main. He's gonna get a few drones, it looks like. One drone goes down, 2 drones, 3 go down. I think it's just 2. Not quite enough damage here from Killer to actually make things even out.
Yeah, if he got in 3 drones, maybe it's like it's still slightly Sanctuary favored, but it does kind of give Killer a bit more life in it. But only getting 2 is not the end of the world for Sanctuary here. It does kind of stifle Sanctuary a little bit, like limiting his options and how long it's going to take him to build this natural expansion and stuff. But Sanctuary's going to do a good job of getting a tactical and technical edge in this game by being really... Oh, and he's be careful though. Tries to get the snipe on this drone, not able to do so. Almost losing the Mutalisk for it. A little bit miscalculation from Sanctuary there. But does also not get the snipe on this link coming into the main base, being super annoying. Is Killer just trying to attack Sanctuary as much as possible. Has lost an Overlord, so he's currently supply block, trying to buy time as much as he can in this game. But it is going to take some time to stabilize, get his lair going, start to mine gas finally, and then get into his own Mutalisk. It's going to be a long time coming for Killer to make his way back into this game, and Sanctuary's probably going to be climbing ahead of him, even if he does start to come back here.
Yeah, still supply blocked here is Killer. Can't really do anything right now. He's on 18 of 18. A lot of that is Lings as well. He has quite a few openings in his base with where which some mutas could come in and get some damage done. Like, for example, at the bottom of these mineral patches here in the main, and also the mineral patches here in the natural. So Sanctuary kind of wasting a bit of an advantage here. He should be coming over right now with the mutas to get as many kills as he can, but he's still just so far ahead right now. It's kind of a ridiculous hill to climb right now. I don't think Killer can pull this one out, but he's going to do his best to try and take a win for his team here. Got to pull the drones away. Not going to lose any of them, but needs to set up another another spore colony here right away. Otherwise, he's just going to lose way too many drones. Ooh.
He's making he's made a big cut for a long time in trying to slow down the third and fourth spore timing here. In fact, he cancelled the creep that he was making in the main base. He's really trying to cut on when he's making these spores in his main and natural as much as possible. Now going to do a big link counter attack to see if he can find some significant damage done. There's 2 links to defend against this. One link that almost gets the drone snipe, not quite able to find that, but yeah, it doesn't look like Killer wants to pull the trigger on committing too hard to any kind of counterattack, just keeping these links active out on the map to force Sanctuary to keep coming home with these Mutalists and keep them a little bit more passive for the time being, keeping Killer with a significant lifeline here of not having to worry about these Mutalists coming in and sniping these drones that are kind of exposed in the back here on this natural expansion. Finally getting these third and fourth spores online to stabilize himself while he gets the Spire.
Yeah, this is impressive, man. I'm surprised that Killer's managed to make a game out of this. I thought with that early kill on the hatchery with the damage there that he would just, you know, be tempted to tap out there, but he's managed to kind of secure his position here. He's got those 2 spores. He's gonna have to keep building spores because the Mutalisk count is continuing to rise. I wonder if Sanctuary has some +1 or some upgrades going yet, because one of the ways that you can keep ahead when you're the 9 pool player, when you're the player that's not gone for these spores, is to go ahead and start an early upgrade and keep those upgrades rolling so that you can, you know, just always stay ahead in that way. It's going to be interesting to see if he's got that upgrade and where these guys want to take this game from here.
Yeah, also having that upgrade does allow you to dictate the engagements, and having that small window of advantage can be critical. Just being able to stay ahead of your opponent for even just 20 to 30 seconds can be enough to choose when to engage and then have that small advantage, and then use that to swing the battle in your favor. Can be all that you need in a matchup like this to get a big enough edge. And so far it looks like both Mutalists are going to be avoiding each other for the time being. Finally, the Mutas were spotted at the 3 o'clock location by that overlord, but it looks like Saxby not in the mood to intercept, instead wanting to come into the natural expansion area, see if he can find some damage here, maybe kill a few of these Zerglings that's slightly too far away from these spores for the time being, not really concerning himself with the mutas that are out on the map.
So impressive. These guys have gotten so good at just like keeping alive here, even though they're having such a hard time. Oh, losing 2 Scourge for 1. That's not good. I thought he was going to trade out for an Overlord there, seeing that there wasn't a Mutalisk popping out of those eggs in time. But ends up losing those 2 Scourge. That's unfortunate. Now, we've got a really good clump of mutas here. I want to see Saxry take a 3rd base. He should be grabbing that 3rd, getting ahead in the gas count here. Go ahead and get a 3rd gas going, because there's not really too much Killer can do in terms of counterattacking. I like that Saxry has the 3rd hatchery in main, but that's only going to give him a larva advantage. It's not going to give him that gas advantage, and here he goes. He's going to go ahead and take the 3rd at 12.
Yeah, I think that's a wise choice. You do kind of have to push your advantage in any way, shape, or form, and usually that is with a 3rd gas. And we are going to be seeing this very fast Queen's Nest out of Killer, though. So Killer wants to go straight into either, you know, Devourers or Plague, basically, and both will be pretty good options here against what Saxry's doing. I think with these positions, you could maybe argue that Devourers would be more reliable, but I think we might still see Plague, especially with the Spore setup. What do you think is there?
Plague is going to be hard to pull off because there is just so much distance here between the 2 bases. However, there are also a lot of different pathways to take, so he could, you know, just do the gamble play and just walk his Defilers across the map and hope that they take a path that isn't being tracked by Saxry and make their way over towards the natural, and then he can force a fight, plague all the mutas, and take a really big win. But that is a very low percentage chance play. We'll see if that's what he wants to go for. Devours can also be very finicky, right? You only need a few of them, but if they get picked off with Scourge, then they don't do anything, and then they end up, you know, it ends up being a complete waste of money. And a Queen's Nest on the side of Saxry as well. It's insane how much we're seeing these Queen's Nest and these Hive transitions in ZVZ these days.
It seems like, yeah, people have figured out the matchup enough where they want to try and, like, see if they can plan ahead more. The same way as you see Saxry wanting to take this 3rd base to maintain his lead, they're starting to think about taking this Queen's Nest to maintain the lead by getting him to take. Like, look at this Link counterattack, 2 in the natural, 4 in the main. Really tough for Killer to deal with right now. Also, meanwhile, going for that Defiler Mound, like I thought he might be wanting to double down into going for Plague here. But only losing, I think, there's like a couple of drones there, but still really annoying to lose that mining time. Lose any drones at this stage in the game can be pretty annoying to deal with. So pretty successful counterattacks from Saxry here, keeping the pressure on. And these little, it looks like the response from Killer here not quite being as significant. Does delay some mining at the 3rd base with his own lings, so it is something. But now going to be coming into natural expansion with these Mutalisk and Scourge, putting the pressure on Killer, and he has a superior fleet right now. So now we'll be able to snipe a couple of these Overlords as well for free, while the lings make their way into the main base and be really annoying for Killer, because he can now kind of try and box out the Mutas with his own in the main base, while also trying to come in and cause as much harassment as possible. So right now it's actually being super annoying. Could even come in and kill this Spore.
Ooh, he's gonna get the Spore. He saw the double down. Yeah, crazy. Killer taps out here. It was a double down on the double down there for Killer. He went double Defiler's Mound. He was gonna get both the Plague and the Consume upgrade at the same time, but Saxry getting in there with the Lings. He saw that those Defilers were gonna be coming. That's a lot of gas to dump into those buildings, and also the double upgrades. So he knew he had a timing there, and he hit it perfectly. He gets in there with the mutas. He splits up the mutas with the Lings running into the main, and he forces the GG. So really, really nicely played there from Saxry. He gets Team Hero on the board with their first point. We're going to be jumping in to game number 4. Okay, jumping into Ana versus Cadenzi. Second ladies match of the night. And we've got Cadenzi here in the top right, Ana in the top left on Polypoid. So what do you think Cadenzi's thinking in this match? She's had some good performance. She's had some bad performance. She's probably gotten through the early kind of stressful first few games. She's got the wiggles out by now, I'm assuming, and she's probably ready to play a good game. But what kind of game do you expect from Cadenza here?
I mean, honestly, I have to suspect it's some kind of pizza that's made exclusively from cheese. It's just depending on, like, is there a little bit of pepperoni with the cheese? Is it just, yeah, like, is it just tomato sauce and cheese? But it's going to be some kind of cheese, I imagine, from Denzi. I can't imagine her playing just a straight up macro game against Anna here. I imagine some kind of Ling play or Hydra Burst, maybe even like an Ogre Zerg, something here saying. So that's a little bit cheesy for sure. And we're going to do a little bit of damage on this drone already. She is going for a very earlier pull timing, so she isn't going to be trying to get anything too crazy here, but I think she was it like a 10 pull, the 10 over pull, then like another gas trick, and now she's gonna go for the Nexus. So she kind of does like a weird opening, I think, Denzi in ZVP, but it's not too strange.
I think she was going for a 9 hatch, right? She sent the drone out at 9, and the probe came in and blocked it.
Right, so then she has to adjust and go temple.
Yeah.
Or something.
I think so. I think that's what happened. She's gonna get out here and get her natural down now. Anna's not in a position to block this, and her other drone is down at the bottom right-hand corner. Her overload's gonna scout the natural here of Anna, and we don't have a cannon just yet, but it looks like it's gonna be thrown down here pretty quick. There it is. It should be on time here. Where is Denzi gonna throw down her third base? Is she gonna put it down at the bottom right, maybe?
Maybe so. Right now, though, I saw like a fairly early gas timing from Denzi, so I'm curious if we're going to be seeing like a Ling speed Hydra Bust build. I'm trying to eye up what she's doing right now. I'm a little bit curious because I don't think the game has gone the way she wanted it to. Like you say, I think she was doing some kind of 9 hatch play or something, and that kind of got like rumbled by this early probe scout. So now we're going to be seeing what the fail safe build is going to be if that wasn't going to work. So it looks like it's going to be a lot more Turtle Zerg style actually, with this third base location and the natural in the bottom right here, giving this 3 back 4th base option to her.
Yeah, you can Hydra Bust with the hatchery down in the bottom right, but it's not optimal, that's for sure. The Hydras are going to be coming from a very far ways off, so I'm expecting her to turtle up here, try to take this into the late game. Hydra Den, okay, that's not what I was expecting. She's really trying to block this out, but she does allow the Hydra Den to be spotted. That's rough. That's really rough for Cadenzi.
I think it's rough, but I think it's a fake Hydra Burst. I think she almost wants it to get scouted. I think if it doesn't get scouted, she goes for it anyway. But I think like she anticipates it's very likely that it will be scouted, and she will just do a fake Hydra Burst after the fact, and then we'll go into a bit more of a Turtle Zerg style afterwards. But yeah, it's a shame that she couldn't get away with just getting the den unscouted anyway. But I think she'll now just play it like a fake Hydra Burst from this position.
Well, you know what? Anna doesn't see the third base. She doesn't know where the third base is. A drone just blocked out the probe from getting back into the main. She could think that it's like been canceled. And there's a layer on the way now. She doesn't really know. So there's a lot of like what ifs here for Anna. She's not really sure what's gonna happen, but she's sending the probe down to the bottom right now, and she's gonna spot where that third is, and then pretty much the jig is going to be up here. Anna really knows what's going on, has that moment, has that aha, and she's going to be able to respond appropriately now from here.
Yeah, I really don't feel like the game's gone Denzi's way though this far. Like she certainly has had like her original game plan thrown off quite significantly, and now she's trying to adapt to that. Like I said, I think we will be seeing some kind of like fake Hydra Bust build from her. If Anna doesn't react though, she could just make non-stop Hydras and kill Anna if she feels like she's able to do so. Hydra actually just going to slip past the 2 Zealots and see what's going on over here, starting to micro them down a little bit. Doesn't want to be too cocky with this first initial Hydra. Losing that could be pretty costly. You see Anna making 2 additional cannons, but they're not quite on like ready yet. So actually, there's a small window for Denzi to come in here if she wants to, I think.
We've only got 3 Hydras here at the front. Some more Hydras popping out. We've got a Zealot down here in the bottom left as well, but a couple of Hydras are ready to fight that off. Those 2 cannons are going to finish up for Anna. She goes forward, tries to press down those cannons, but that's not going to end up working. 1 Hydra does fall here, and the drone died at that third base as well. So this is not looking too good for a Hydraless bust. I don't think we're going to be able to break through here, and quite a few Hydras are coming forward. I don't know. I really feel like Denzi should be transitioning and pulling these Overlords back as well. Looks like she is going to start to pull those back towards the natural. More and more Hydras popping out here. I don't know how you feel about this, Shun, but I don't think this is going to end up working.
I mean, I don't think it's going to end up working either, but I was smelling that she wanted to come in here and make this work. Every bone in her body is screaming that she wants to do this right now, and I don't think anything is going to change her from doing this right now. She has a small window, actually. She comes in here right now. There's not quite enough service area from the Zealots, and the probes blocking. The probe should have stayed in there blocking. Kind of Anna not really taking this seriously enough, and maybe a small chance here for Denzi to come through here. Not quite killing all the cannons, though. Some cannons do survive. There's a few more rallied Hydras coming in from behind. There's such a large amount of probes buying valuable time for these cannons to stabilize the position. Gateway finally gets thrown down as well to kind of plug up the hole yet again, throwing down more cannons as well. There was a chance there though for Denzi with some slightly better execution to mow down those probes and those cannons and win this position.
Oh, that's so painful. She lost 2 Hydras for free. If she has 2 more Hydras here, she probably busts through, but she gets 1 more cannon. She might still be able to make it happen. These cannons are very far apart. If she can kill the Forge, she can run straight in here and get on top of this cannon. 1 more cannon does finish. There's only 3 probes here and a Zealot. In order to hold this off, she gets another cannon. Only 3 here once again, and the 4th does finish up though. Oh, just more and more Hydras coming across the map here right now. And now we have the Zealot production coming in for Anna. She's going to be able to get that speed upgrade here very, very soon. And I think this is going to be held off, although the Corsair does go down. There's too many Zealots here, yeah, and the speed upgrade is done. Anna's kind of done it. She's going to be able to hold this off. She's going to be able to push these Hydralists away.
Yeah, Anna basically by the skin of her teeth as well. There was a small chance there for Denzi to break that, but not able to do so. And now it's just looking like a worse and worse position for Denzi every second that goes past. And the 5th and 6th cannon going to be warping in to kind of seal that deal, as well as no additional Hydras are going to be able to be enough to break through for the time being. And there's enough Zealots now to tank the damage of the Hydras that they won't be able to overwhelm these cannons for quite some time, and a significant amount of Hydras could be made. And with only 3 hatch production behind us, there's just not enough critical mass to fight with here for Denzi, and no real way of transitioning as well. So the writing's on the wall now for Team Heroes. Looks like it's going to be a 3-1 lead for Team Light going forward here. Anna doing a really great job in this early game against Denzi, and not letting this crush her spirit, and keeping on top of things and making sure she didn't take too much damage to survive that final wave of Hydra Bust.
Yeah, some mistakes were made for sure. Denzi could have potentially broken through there, but now the Zealot number is just way too high. She's going to come out here and start to kill off a bunch of Hydras, only losing I think 1 Zealot there and some shields. I'm gonna back away now, realizing that just pure Hydra production has been happening, and all she needs to do is just stand in front of these cannons and wait. Cadenzi hasn't built a single drone after this. She's got no drones here at the 3rd base. Generally, when you go for a 3 hatch Hydra bust, of course you want to have at least, you know, 973, but that we don't even have that here from Cadenzi. She's just producing off of hardly any drones at all. A lot of Hydra still coming out here. Anna sees that. She's just gonna build more cannons. Oh my god, so many cannons now. Plus so many Zealots as well. Gonna come forward here, start to take this fight. Zealot's gonna hold position for now. The cannons are doing their work. Zealot's gonna come out and force things back. Denzi trying to break through, but this is just about hopeless here. These cannons are doing so much damage. They attack so quickly, and with the Zealot's body blocking from them, there's just no way they're going to go down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Denzi has to tap out here. There's just no way she can. She can't transition. She can't bust. So now the game is basically unwinnable from her perspective. And there's still some critical error from Anna, or like somehow a jet engine fell on her house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's unfortunate. Not gonna be anyway. You can give this game to a C rank player or a D rank player, and they should be able to take the win from here. Oof. The Storm clutching it out here. Denzi taps Anna, moving forward with a 3-1 win. A 3-1 score here for Team Light. Feeling very, very good. I'm not liking this though, man. I want to see this go all the way to the ace match. I really, really hope that we get to see Hero versus Light in the end, but it's not looking good for Team Hero here so far. It's time for TVT, boys. We're going into this game with Light versus Sharp on Apocalypse. Not the biggest fan of TVT. I know a lot of you guys aren't as well, but it should be a good match. You know, Light is arguably the best Terran player in the world right now. Has been carrying that mantle for quite some time. I know a lot of, you know, strong Terran players have started to make that or bring that into question, but he is still an incredibly strong player. And Sharp isn't just super aggressive, right? So we've got the solid macro beast here in Light versus the very aggressive and thoughtful Sharp, and we'll see if this brings us an explosive game or not.
Pretty good summary, I would say, saying, yeah, I'm gonna have this sort of spear versus shield way of playing. Light going to be on top of pretty much everything, but Sharp going to be taking the role of aggressor maybe in this matchup, and it would be nice to see if he can penetrate the tough plating of Light. It will be a very tough challenge for him. Light's an exceptional TVT player, one of the best in the business, so he's going to be coming out on the map with this barracks in the middle right away, getting a little bit of pressure on maybe if there was going to be some kind of fast CC timing play from Sharp, and also being able to keep some options alive if Sharp was to make a little bit of a greedy play by only making like 2 Marines here. Maybe Light could come in there and punish him. This is a flat map after all, and the Marines do have a little bit more value in the early game.
Now the very forward barracks here going to be working for Light. He's going to have that floating barracks reach his opponent's base a lot faster as well, but for now going to put on some pressure with these Marines. Only see 2 Marines here at the front, and 2 Marines of Light are going to come forward. Let's see how the targeting is here. Ooh, Sharp immediately backing away, already eating a shot. We're going to bring the SCV forward, try to deal some extra damage. He gets 1 Marine. Bunker going to start here at the front. He gets some free shots. Really nice damage here from Sharp. Free hits on that Marine there means that he's going to be able to win that fight. Should these two come to blows. Looks like gonna block away this 1 Marine. He gets the 1 Marine here before it gets into the bunker, but the bunker does go up, and this Vulture's gonna be denied from running by. Very annoying stuff for Sharp to have to deal with, while the CC is already down here and started for Light on location. I guess Sharp gonna throw this down just a little bit out, or just a little bit out of the natural in the main base here. Should be able to float that in. That's not gonna delay him too much, but this is annoying what Light's done here in this early game. He's kind of taking control of this match.
Yeah, he's basically given like a really big headache for Sharp to have to manage and navigate around, forcing an early second factory, allowing Light to take this really fast CC, and also delaying Sharp from taking his own expansion, forcing him to go that CC in base and play a little more passive in the early game. And now keeping the pressure on with some vultures as well to make sure that he can maybe even take some advantages in these trades. So Sharp also can't just go straight into getting the tank out right away. He had to make sure he made a couple of vultures just to make sure that he had some protection against Light's continued harassment as well. So really going to be a long time before Sharp's able to really do anything about this annoying early game play from Light. It's nothing too crazy we're seeing here from Light. It's literally just a small skirmish that he's done to secure a small positional edge over Sharp and kind of frustrate him as much as possible and limit the options he had.
He's going to be able to push away this bunker here. It's going to take some time, but I think he can just fly in with the command center and land, because 1 Marine is not really going to be that big of a deal. Looks like he's going to come forward, just kill that SCV, stop the repair here. He's taking quite a bit of extra damage on this tank by this one Marine, but it takes so long for one Marine to kill a tank. I guess it's not really going to matter that much.
Yeah, he's doing like 5 damage a hit with that Gauss rifle, the Marine, so it's going to take quite a substantial amount of time for doing really any significant damage, but still, it's not nothing. Losing any HP can be annoying in the early game. So every little helps in this matchup, but honestly, not going to be too much to worry about here for Sharp. He's finally securing his expansion. He's actually ahead in supply right now, 49 to 46. I would say he's also got slightly more production than Light, going for these earlier factories. So there is a small window now where some counterattacks could transpire. He has a slight unit edge, but that's really not going to help him out. Like the defender's advantage of Light will probably surmount and be too much for him to overcome. So I don't think we're going to be seeing any advantage given to any player here, unless one of them wants to just kind of pull the trigger and go for a very heavy, like Vulture versus Vulture war anytime now. Both players are kind of geared up to do that, and it looks like Light, with these mines out on the field, wants to be the one to keep being the aggressor here and come onto this high ground peninsula yet again and maybe start to pull the trigger on a little bit of a Vulture war here.
Yeah, I guess Sharp can't really move across the map right now because there are all these mines. He can't risk losing that tank, so Light gonna take that as an advantage here. He's going to move to take a fight now and actually gonna run by. This is huge. If he runs by, oh no, he doesn't. He pulls back because he sees the Vulture Wars coming. This tank in the middle is going to really change the math here on this fight, and I'm really surprised that Sharp wants to take this right now, but he is gonna trade off quite a few Vultures and backs away successfully. So I guess that wasn't too bad. He's also going to be able to take his high ground now, jumping back on top of these Vultures, targeting some of them down. Going to get a few Vultures here and actually surprisingly winning this fight. This is kind of crazy that he's managed to take this with the tank in the mix here for Light. It should give him an advantage. However, with the rallies here, Light managing to push everything back. That was a pretty interesting trade back and forth between the two of these players. Now, Sharp has managed to secure his high ground, and he's shoved back Light. This is a positional win, I guess, here for Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of weird there. Very well calculated from Sharp to identify that he could come in there and just snipe down those Vultures and outmuscle them despite the extra DPS from that tank being levied against him. So really well calculated from there. Light kind of having to give away a lot of ground now, and Sharp kind of exploding out onto the map with his positional play and head in supply as well. So if he can maintain a lead because of the Vulture War going his way, he's kind of like really mitigated anything that Light has gone for in this early game, and he's weathered the storm and kind of reset the progress of Light, and now we'll be able to kind of take the driver's seat himself if he so chooses. He might want to take a really early third base here, or just get really heavy into his tech and upgrades and try and get a very early +2 timing on these tanks so we can start two-shotting these tanks of Light as soon as possible.
Goliath's here going to push away the barracks. Not going to have that unfettered information in the main base anymore. And that's going to burn down here soon as well. He may decide to send an SCV out on the map to heal that up. Likewise, Light could send Vultures to deal with that. And there's kind of a back and forth there. And we're trying to keep that barracks alive and keep the production rolling, because you don't want to, lose your barracks too early and then be stopped from building your factory count up. And we're going into third bases here for both players, so they're definitely going to want more and more factors here. We're probably going to see a nice long game out of these two, which is awesome to see. This has been a kind of an unorthodox TVT opening, but both players have managed to sort of navigate it into a reasonable position where we may end up seeing this map split. And you can't actually split this map. I think it's time to talk about kind of the map geography here, because it may actually come into play now.
Yeah, you can't really split this map. I don't think that works. I think there's just another. If you could somehow split the bases at the bottom here, half and half, like 2 on the left, 2 on the right, maybe. But it's very weird that situation would transpire. So yeah, it's very difficult to split this map. So this usually will go one player's way, one way or another. Very difficult to control the lanes in such a way that you can split the map in half neatly. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up being divvied up here, and which player ends up getting the better slice of pie to fight with.
Yeah, the control of these high ground peninsulas is going to be the most important, and we can see Light is already controlling that bottom high ground, has some tanks in the middle of the map as well. One thing important to note is that you can build turrets on this low ground in the center of the map, but you can't build them on the high ground peninsula. So although the peninsulas are a nice place to fight from, you actually cannot build turrets up there, so you are vulnerable to things like wraiths, things like drop ships flying on top and dropping units on top of your units. So that's one thing to note here. Light has the better position for sure, but there's still a very large amount of play here from Sharp. We still don't have +2 done yet, so there are options to bust through these tank lines, and right now Sharp has the advantage in the supply. We'll see if he decides to try and bust through, or does he want to just subvert this, go around this, and get it in onto the high ground here. Looks like he's going to get up this ramp, but with more with tanks here from Light, I think he might be able to hold on here. He's sending up reinforcements, and it's very critical that he keeps control of this high ground right now.
With these additional 2 tanks, I think he will be able to do that. There are some scans going down from Sharp, seeing if he can sniper through those additional tanks, but now also Light going to come in here and try and win the 2-on-1 Wraith trade. There are 2 Goliaths to ward that away, so it does maintain the Wraith in the middle, the center. And these Wraiths are quite important. They do provide vision to the tanks, allowing them to shoot at a greater distance, and they can see themselves. So having these like Wraiths like floating around can be really good. Also helps you be able to, like, say, kill some of the floating buildings around if there's a floating barracks on eBay to spot as well. So keeping these Wraiths alive can be very critical in winning the siege line trench warfare that goes on. So we also see Light now wanting to pull quite a substantial amount of Wraiths as well, to maybe get quite a few of them to break some of the siege lines of Sharp and overwhelm him with a little bit of the Wraith support.
Well, with this with this option being shut off here, you know, Sharp's not able to get through that bottom pathway down towards that third base, or that third high ground location. He's gonna make a move here towards the top right, trying to take control of this area here and cut off the ability for Light to grab a 4th base easily at the top right. But actually Light's thrown a base down at the bottom right, whereas Sharp gonna grab that center left. So interesting build pattern here from Light, grabbing that base down there. It's gonna be hard to defend though. Vulture run-bys will be very powerful against that base, but as long as Light holds this entire middle and that sort of bottom pathway that we saw earlier, Sharp attacking through, I guess it's a safe base to take. And this map is now starting to split in a very interesting diagonal at this point.
Yeah, and so far it's favoring Light. If Light can maintain control over the center and deny Sharp from coming down into the southern peninsula too much, then yeah, this position is more than favoring Light. That remains to be seen, though, that Sharp could very easily break through some of these positions. But right now, Light ahead in supply by 20, looking pretty healthy in this game. Does have a few Wraiths chilling right now as well, so they will be coming into play and being annoying later on as well. Maybe catching some drop ships. We see a little bit of a Vulture drop in the bottom left here. 2 Goliaths, 2 Vultures to come down here, maybe clear out this base in the bottom left, so that can be taken as well for Sharp.
So bringing some SCVs over here, he thinks that maybe he can try and take this base, I guess. But Light gonna react very quickly, bringing forward an entire army to deal with that. Maybe this is the time when Sharp can break through the middle. If he sees this many units down here at the bottom left, if he brings everything together and busts the middle, that could be a really big tempo switch for Sharp.
Right, you basically want to find the the part of the defense line that's the weakest. So you want to just keep going. Whenever you see an opportunity to attack, you want to just like hit that weakest point as much as possible. We see a little weak spot him to go for, and he gets in here with these siege tanks. Starts a siege up in the middle of the map and has quite a few siege tanks to leverage against Light in the middle now. And Light has kind of had this entire position kind of blown open. Quite a sizable amount of tanks went down in short order. There is a barracks here to spot these tanks. So he has some control over the center with this flank of 3 tanks to the east and a few tanks to the south as well. But for the most part, Sharp has come out into the center quite in a strong way. Now the little vulture run by from Light coming into this 9 o'clock position. All these vultures are more or less undefended. So these SUVs undefended. So going to be losing quite a few of them. Not as many as I thought, but still, this is the kind of play that Light needs right now because Sharp's already kind of behind in the economic curve of the game. So denying any kind of mining time, sniping any kind of SUVs right now is going to be a big deal for Light coming forward. I would have liked to seen Sharp start to take this expansion in the top right actually quite sooner and try and like maybe double expand right now and try and push this the northeastern flank right now and push this line of attack to maybe both threaten this expansion of Lights while also defending his own. But unfortunately, we haven't really seen that transpire thus far. But I think the +2 attack upgrades on both sides is going to change the tempo of this game significantly. Saying now that the tanks are dying in 2 shots instead of 3, it really does allow players to be much more heavily aggressive with their pushes.
I think we really need to see Sharp use this position that he's got in the middle of the map to start extending down towards that high ground peninsula at the bottom center. He hasn't taken that over yet, and Light's forces are not that strong down here. He's actually going to start to drop on top of these units, and he is going to make that move now. Let's see if it's too late or not. He is going to grab this position right here. He should be able to wipe out these tanks up here on the high ground. However, losing quite a few of these dropships now is Sharp. He is going to lose that dropship. 1 more dropship does remain. He managed to get out with just 1 dropship. Now Light's got some dropships of his own, maybe going around the side of the map here and hitting that center left once again. Looks like just barely going to take out this tank. Sharp is playing a risky game here, trying to take this over. It looks like reinforcing this position with those drops is going to be a good idea here for Light. Still holding onto the high ground. He's making Sharp fight for every inch of space here on the map.
Yeah, this is basically how you want to play TVT. If any of you guys at home are trying to learn TVT, or at the very least understand what you're looking at, Light's a good guide to investigate. He kind of understands this matchup better than most people. Look at how he's controlling the lanes right now. He has control of unit flow to every one of his expansions, while it's also cutting off any form of expansionism from Sharp right now, not allowing him to come into the southern threshold of the map here. All 4 of these bases just becoming locked out from Sharp and just being set up by Light to come in for a very comfortable late game position, forcing Sharp to be the aggressor and come in and use resources to gain space. Though right now 4 dropships coming to the bottom left quadrant to try and clear out this position and give him some little bit of room to breathe and expand, and Light's going to try and react to this right away with his own dropships.
Yeah, his own dropship's going to come in here, but is he going to land on top of those drops? I don't think so. He's just going to take another position over here and slowly grind away these drop tanks from Sharp. Not allow him to make any further advances here. Not allow him to take this base, and that's good enough for Light right now. He's got plenty of bases to take. He's got plenty of space here on the map to take wherever he wants. So Sharp is the one who really has to fight for bases right now, and all Light needs to do is just make it as difficult as possible for him to do so. Looks like Sharp maybe thinking about breaking the center, though. Going through the center could be his route to victory here, dropping right on top of these tank lines and shoving forward really, really strongly here. Sharp going to take a good position in the middle, and I don't think he's going to be able to take away Light's high ground, but this is giving him some space to maneuver. It's opening up some of these lanes for his vultures to possibly slip through and start hitting some of these expansions, these outlying expansions for Light.
Yeah, it is something going for Sharp right now, but he needs to do something soon. Right now, the game state is favoring Light. He has 1 base ahead of Sharp for the time being, and now making a big play into the main base of Sharp with these 5 dropships, some siege tanks, but a lot of the damage done already. Big mine connections on those units, pretty much clearing up the majority of that drop and having to evacuate and bring some of those siege tanks to the other side of the cliff face and instead try and shell the main base from outside. And that's going to both stabilize the position for Sharp, but also make it a little bit more of a frustrating one, because now Sharp might start to be locked out of this gas expansion at the sort of like 1 o'clock position as well, if Light can maneuver this correctly. And now I think we're going to have to see a consolidation from Sharp pushing out into the center one more time, and maybe seeing Keen come down to either the southern peninsula or the eastern peninsula. He's going to have to attack one of these positions very soon. I think he's going to go for the south because he wants to both expand and attack at the same time. He needs to make a big play, and very soon, because right now Light's in the driving seat. He's ahead in both economy and army supply right now, but now that we're both maxed out, that doesn't really become much of a factor anymore. The only thing going for Sharp is the fact that Light probably has a slightly more saturation of SCVs than he, so that means that it's maybe slightly more army for Sharp at any given time. I'm not quite sure what the saturation of Sharp is going to be like, but for the longest time, Light had the advantage, and now that's not going to be a factor anymore. So Sharp now has pretty much any room to maneuver here to make something work, but it's going to be tough.
That mine in the main base gave me the shudders right there. That was so painful for Light. He had a great position there. He had a good plan, but that one single mine just ruining everything. And that might be kind of the turning point here for Sharp. He was really struggling up until that point, but he shuts down that drop. Some of the drop ships got picked off. Now he's going to go down here to the south. You're right. He's going to try and break this position, dropping on top of these tanks, drawing some mines in. And he's actually going to set up here on this high ground. As long as he holds a position here near the high ground, he should be able to slide southward and actually start to take some of these bases down here in the bottom left. He's opened up a lane to get down here and start to deal some damage. He's going to be able to send vultures southward and maybe start to harass this base down at the 6 o'clock. However, Light is spreading more and more down southward, getting his tanks over here. And look at this, man. Imagine if the map split in this way. If it split with the two bases in the bottom center going to, or in the bottom left going to Sharp, and the two bases in the bottom right going to Light. That would be insane.
Well, this is the only way the map can be split, and they are doing it. I mean, it's usually a very strange way the map can be split, because it's very difficult to maintain this game state without one side crumbling at some point along this like siege line. So yeah, this is actually really looking not so great for Sharp. Actually, I feel like
Well,
even though he's come
bank.
down. Maybe I still do see, like,
why does he have so much
just
money? You know what I mean? Like, look at, he was at 160 supply and he had 3,000 minerals. He really, I think, faltered in his macro there, whereas Light is just completely maxed.
Yeah, well, I think there's a little bit of hesitation from Sharp. I don't just think it's a macro issue. I think it's also a not knowing what to make issue, because he's not like, doesn't have complete information right now. Doesn't know exactly what Light is doing. Doesn't know if there's a BC switch going on. Like, there's a lot of information that is kind of limited to Sharp. He's probably going to be scanning like a mad thing, trying to figure out exactly what kind of units he needs to make. And a lot of times you do kind of hesitate as Terra not to max out on the wrong units and kind of hovering around like 170, 180 supply, and just waiting to kind of decide on what you're going to make your final army to kind of be the best counter to what your opponent's doing as possible. And sometimes that can kind of back and bite you in the ass in these sort of tempo swing situations where one player is just hammering out as many units as possible, and you're trying to sit there and worry about what optimal setup to go for, but really just making anything would be better than kind of hesitating a little bit. So yeah, sometimes that can kind of backfire a little bit. I think that was slightly intentional though. Sometimes players do like to kind of sit on a non-max supply and just try and make sure they don't make the wrong units.
That's possible, but you know, Sharp here, he needs to make a move now. Time is running out of the hourglass. There's no time left for hesitation. He has to get down here. He's even bringing the boys, bringing the SCVs here to fight. A counter drop here from Light, going to drop these tanks. SCVs coming out to fight. They're going to draw a lot of this fire. The friendly fire here from the tanks is going to clear out a lot of these. Wow, SCVs being absolute heroes here, and he's getting down towards the 6 o'clock base. He's actually managed to break Light in a lot of different positions. I said this was his kind of last Hail Mary here, and it's actually working out pretty well for Sharp. Although, you know, Light has been on more bases for so much longer, he's just got a ton more economy to work with here. It's really up to Sharp to take the best trades possible coming forward. He's going to be able to get these tanks, I think, just barely maybe enough here for Light to hold on, but he's lost all the SCVs down here at the bottom. And this base is mining. What the heck is going on? How is that base mining right now? Sharp's gotta get a command center down here and start to get some mining in this bottom left.
Yeah, there is a small window here where Sharp's actually coming out ahead, and if he can just keep trading well while also putting on pressure at these southern bases, that's going to be great for him. And Light's actually kind of dawdling a little bit. He's lagging behind. We're going to be seeing Sharp coming down in, setting up siege tanks and units here. Light needs to kind of squash out this play right now. He needs a big win. He's coming in with all of his units unloaded, just destroy everything as efficiently as possible. He's trying to do that. It does mop up pretty much most of the army here of Sharp without losing too much, so he does maintain control of this area, but right now supplies painfully even for both sides, and Light has a little bit more gas in the bank and Sharp has a little more minerals in the bank, but really what comes down to it is, can these players maintain their positions and not give up any ground to the others? Right now, like, it could go either way. As long as Light can stop Sharp from taking additional bases and maintain the game state, that favors Light at the end of the day. So it's on Sharp to come down here and make something work, and Light knows that. Light knows that right now everything is on Sharp having to come down into the southern peninsula and reinforce it over and over again. And Light's built this massive fleet of dropships to come in here and just squash any attempts at counterattack from Sharp to try and gain as big of a momentum shift as possible with these trades. And Sharp now finally starting to set up in this main base location in the bottom left and start to mine from there as he floats over the CC. So now there's a little bit of life left for Sharp in the tank as he finally starts to become mined out and has this base become operational for him, keeping him in the game for the time being. But I still think this could go Light's way.
Yeah, I think that maybe Sharp has run out of time here. He had those few moments where he could have secured a base and kind of brought the momentum back in his favor, but Light's done such a great job with these drops. But a counter drop here from Sharp. This is one of those classic TVTs, those fantastic TVTs with the just incredible dropship play back and forth, counter drop and drop going on continuously here, where actually Sharp's going to win this fight, but all the dropships were killed in that last fight. So now there's going to be no further counter drops. And Light's going to probably be able to drop on top of this force and wipe it out. We've got one single Goliath here trying to kill these dropships, but Light's just going to land here right on top of all of this. These tanks are super stacked up as well. They're going to die to some very focused tank fire from Light. Even getting on top of these with the Goliaths just finish them off. I think this might be the end for Sharp, though he is still pushing forward here one last time. Going to shut down the mining at 6 o'clock, looks like, forcing these SCVs off the line, killing off a ton of them, but he's abandoned the defense of that bottom left here. This one base that's finally started mining is so incredibly important because he's mined out everywhere else. He has to keep that alive. Light's going to go for the killing blow here. He's flying right over top of these tanks. He's going to take out bottom left. This is so big.
Wow, it's just such a chess game from Light. He really understands this matchup, saying what a baller here coming into the main base now, trying to put not only Sharp into a check position, but trying to fork two things at the same time and force him to have to lose one, and doing a great job. It needs to be careful in the exit not to lose too many of these drop ships. Sharp desperately trying to maneuver in it. It's actually clearing up this drop really well, though, so despite Sharp being really heavily behind on supply, he is still hanging on by a thread right now and does have some control over this lane to the bottom left. So he is still technically alive and in this game, but Light is dwarfing his supply still. So if Light can keep the pressure on and maybe send over some more SCVs to mine at this bottom middle base again, I think Light should still be able to win this, but Sharp's definitely making a game of it and making it frustrating for Light and forcing the SCV train to maybe be used at some point in time. The SCVs definitely are a plenty on Light side of things, so we might be seeing some SCVs being used to fight sometime soon from Light. Here comes another big drop into this main base in the bottom left. A lot of siege tanks in this as well. SCVs beginning to come off that line. We'll be seeing SCVs from Sharp fighting against this desperately and forcing as inefficient a trade from Sharp as possible, but Sharp doing a pretty good job of cleaning up, maintaining the game state a little bit here, losing a few SCVs in the process, and now being reduced to just one base of mining does really heavily favor Light in this game. So there is a small window here where Light can just keep the pressure on and deny this natural expansion being taken from Sharp forever, and that will be the winning condition for Light going forward here, which is probably what he's going to be playing for. and Sharp will be doing everything in his power to maintain this lane control and not allow Light to prevent him from taking this natural expansion.
Oh, this is so amazing. I cannot believe we've actually split the map here. This is unbelievable. Light, I mean, he's been on more bases than Sharp the entire game, and just by the numbers, if you write it down, Light should be on paper ahead. However, Sharp is hanging in there so brilliantly, so tenaciously, dealing with all these dropships. It doesn't matter if he loses some SCVs because he's got so many, and he's only going to have 2 bases maximum here for the rest of the game. That's basically all he can ever take. Light's going to start to move through the middle of the map now, looking for an attack maybe towards the middle, sensing that, you know, it's not going to be worth it to keep fighting Sharp down here at the bottom left. Maybe he can force some more defense to come out of Sharp towards the main base, towards this high ground peninsula outside of his natural, and then swing back around and try to break the bottom left once again. He has so many drops set up here. He's scanning the main. Is he just going to go for a doom drop into the main, or is it going to be going for the bottom left? This is a hard decision right now. It's going to decide this game.
Yeah, basically right now we're going to be seeing a really big play of the dropships. Like Light knows the situation is untenable. He needs to come in here and make it work now, beautifully clearing up this high ground position. He knows that the bases for him have been mining for a lot longer than Sharp, so he has to be the aggressor right now. He has to be the one to cut off the lane to the bottom left and start to get some good trades going. He has all of the army advantage in the world. He just needs to leverage it against Sharp. That is hard to do so, but the one thing he has got going for him is this big fleet of dropships, which he's very good at controlling, and he can use that to his best abilities to maneuver and outplay Sharp here. And Sharp is desperately trying to get some kind of reinforcements down to this bottom left position by the means of his own dropships, but Light being very clever with his own little small skirmishes of Goliaths, even trying to catch those in transit, maybe even almost getting the snipe on one of those. So really active gameplay from both sides, but Light knows that the longer this game goes on, the more he will lose because of how long he's been mining these bases for. So he knows he has to come in here and be the one to take the fight to Sharp now.
And he is going to take that fight to Sharp. Sharp desperately holding on here at the bottom right. He has to hold this position. There is such a huge army advantage right now for Light. 125 supply to 198. Light shoving forward here. It's never good to be walking into tank fire, especially with that +2/+2. Sharp trying to match the position of these dropships, but that means that Light's going to shove forward even further here. Not committing all of his resources. Sharp to this bottom center means that he can probably break through here. Big mine connections on a lot of these units. Some SCVs going to be sent out here. Really small counts of SCVs making a big difference in this fight. Really great position here. Dropping some more tanks out. He's going to drop a Goliath too to just eat some of those shots. So good. Oh my god, Sharp holds on. That was amazing.
Wow, Sharp is like showing really stellar stuff here. He's like down like nearly 80 supply and he's still hanging on by a thread in this game. It really is such a hard matchup to come in here and be the aggressor, and Sharp knows that, and he's making Light pay every price possible. The absolute tax man in full action here is Sharp though. Big doom drop maybe coming into the main base though, trying to checkmate Sharp with these big fleet of 8 dropships swinging around into this main base location. There's no units currently in sight. Here comes the big unload from him. Sharp now going to start to unsiege and maneuver back into the main base, but there's a big clump of tanks and Goliaths here. It's going to be really hard for Sharp to come in and break this position open. He has 3 dropships available to him, but that might not be enough here, Sam.
Yeah, this might be it. Sharp has played such a beautiful game of TVT here. He's done an amazing job at splitting this map in half, at being the aggressor. Basically the entire game, Sharp was forced into being that aggressor and taking those unfavorable trades against Light the entire time, and Light's just leveraged that into such an advantage here that even with the incredible micro of Sharp in these fights, he's not going to be able to win here. It's just a pure numbers game. Eventually Light pulls him apart and takes that win. What a TVT, man. That was definitely the best TVT I've seen in a very long time. Let's give him the clapper, man. Sharp, though he lost, super impressive play from him. Okay, finally we're in match number 6. We've got Hero versus Mind. I thought that this was going to be the best match of the night, but now I'm not so sure. That TVT was insanely good.
Yeah, one of the best TVTs I think I've seen in a long time. Didn't anticipate it going either that long or that way. Light really showing his class there, full understanding of the game state at all times, and really knowing his win conditions and showing his composure at all times and all phases of that game. Got a bit unlucky as well, like with that mine in the main base, but yeah, managed to clinch out a really solid victory and showed like really well executed play there. And Sharp himself really put up a great fight, so that was not an easy game for Light by any means. And maybe seeing a 14cc from mine against Hero in this early game might throw off Hero a little bit. He is going for a 2-hatch there timing, it seems. So won't be able to really do anything to punish this for the time being, besides maybe consider some kind of early cheese play.
Yeah, this is rough for Hero. He's not gonna be able to, cut corners after seeing this 14cc and really like go quickly into another hatcher or something like that. He's already got this gas rolling, so he's kind of gonna have to commit to getting a really quick 2-hatch muta play going, and Mind should be fine with that. He should be taking this early economic advantage and pumping out a lot of Marines and just holding on nicely against this incoming mutalist play Hero. How is he supposed to respond to this, really? When you scout it this late, after you've already kind of decided your build here, there's not a lot that you can do to change things around, aside from where you send the mutas off first and how much aggression you decide to put on. You're already set in this on this path here for Hero, and Mind just gonna take an early advantage, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, Hero's kind of locked into this. He can't really do anything about it. With the wall in as well, there's really nothing you can. The only thing that you can maybe do is like some kind of 2-hatch lurker play, but honestly, it doesn't feel good against 14cc going for the 2-hatch lurker play, because Terran just has more of everything. So as long as they don't get completely blindsided by it, they're fine as well. So yeah, really, there's really nothing you can do when this happens. So Hero definitely a little bit unhappy about this. Probably going to go for a 2.5 hatch style of play in response. I'm not sure when he's going to take this 3rd hatchery. He might just take it on location rather than obviously taking that in his main base as he would normally. So we're going to be seeing a drone probably thrown right out to a 3rd base location now to take that as soon as possible and try and even things out a little bit. But honestly, I don't think it's going to go too well for him.
That's unfortunate. I mean, I'm cheering for Hero here. He really needs to win right now. And if Mind manages to take this one away, we're just done for the day. So this is match point. We need to see Hero win here. So we'll see what he can pull out. He is going to grab a 3rd base on location down at the bottom left, and that hasn't been scouted by Mind. He just saw that there was no hatchery there a moment ago, so that hatchery is going to go unscouted for some time. We'll see how long, but this might throw Mind off a little bit, right? Because he's going to be thinking that there's no 3rd base, or at least he hasn't scouted a 3rd. Maybe it's full on aggression here from Hero, but he's probably going to have a transition point out of this. He's probably going to put on some pressure, and then as he gets that 3rd gas going down in the bottom left, he's going to be able to switch out of it.
Yeah, it looks like there was maybe a tiny window here where maybe the Marines of Mine could have been punished at the front of some Speedlings or something, but there really hasn't been any opportunity for Hero to really come back in this game. So he's going to have to try and figure out some way of just outmaneuvering Mind with pretty much having to follow the railroad of his build and just deal with it. It's going to be tough for him. He is a very stellar player, though. He can maybe try and think of some way of niggling his way back into this game. Pretty much so far, nothing has gone his way in terms of the early game luck factors. So let's see if he can use his execution to make something of it. He is starting to produce quite a few mutas now, so he's going to probably go up to about 6 and then start to come in here and start hitting the Marines and harassing the bio a little bit. But he needs really to come in and kill some SCVs. And if he's not able to do so, he's going to be in trouble. Finally now coming to the main base with these Mutas, forcing out as much stim as possible, forcing as many turrets as possible. He needs every little bit of the help he can get right now. So he's going to be really putting the pressure on while doing a quick transition into Lurker as well, it seems.
Man, I guess I really do like him going into Lurker here right away because we do see the 5 racks play, but this is so scary. Mind has so much here. We've just barely got, you know, a small group of mutas with just 8 reaching the field, and already Mind's got that 5 racks production rolling here. He's got a huge group of Marines, and he's gonna have so much more here so quickly. The factory has started. Maybe he can get something done with these mutas, and it's gonna be pushed away. It's so tough, man. He's got to get these lurkers out right away here, because otherwise Mind's just gonna have way too much for these mutas to handle. He's gonna be able to break him somewhere here on this map.
Yeah, he's trying to buy as much time as possible. Also, Queen's Nest on the way, so trying to get right into that hive tech as soon as possible, as well as Hero trying to get whatever he can with this game state that he's currently got, trying to delay this bioforce by dogging this bio group with these Mutas. But with the +1 upgrade on these Marines, he can do a quick turnaround and snipes one of those Mutas in quick succession, bringing them down to a count of 7. Not really that potent of a force to threaten these bio for too long. So now Mind getting a little bit braver and coming onto the map, and with some reinforcing bio units streaming out onto the map as well. Now wants to put a little bit of pressure on. There's not many Sunkens available for Hero, so some opportunity to come in here and do some damage. There's only 1 Lurker in the natural expansion for the time being as well, so Mind could go for a bust in the natural if the Hero's not careful.
Looks like some more Lurkers just gonna make it here in time. It was a really scary moment there, but he does have everything in position, and this is really what you need to do as Zerg, right? You need to have exactly the right amount of units, just barely when you need them to defend, and everything else needs to go into drones, and Hero's done a great job of that so far. He's got his tech rolling here. Hive is on the way. He's got lurkers at both locations. He's got a sunken here. It's a very hard location to break up this ramp with those eggs in the way, you know. It's going to be very, very tough to get through there. We don't have a Nidus in this bottom left just yet, so Mind is going to come down here, put on that pressure. We'll see if he wants to try and maybe run up that ramp, though, because the angle's not the greatest here for Hero, but it's still going to be very hard against 2 lurkers to get up there.
Yeah, him being this active with the Mutas as well. Ooh, nice little play. Yeah, I like it. I like it being a bit active. It's going to be stimming and coming down and trying to snipe this lurker, but does get the unbar on that. Hero being very active with what little he has got to be as annoying as possible, and keep Mind like kind of second guessing as well. Like, he doesn't want Mind to feel like he can just roll out willy-nilly with these forces here. He wants to be paranoid about the potential of hold position lurkers and what have you, forcing him to stim all over the place and be really cautious with how he maneuvers around the map, and maybe hesitate and kind of pulling the trigger on something that would be a disastrous for Hero to have to deal with. So being as careful as possible, navigating this for the time being. Nidus now going to be set up, and Divine Amount also ready with Consume on the way. So going to be going for a very fast swarm timing. Going to be having that online ready for 11 minutes, maybe even slightly earlier than that.
All right, this is big. This is a big moment here. We've got the 2 dropships heading out on the map around the left-hand side for Mind. This is a double-edged sword. Obviously, we've talked about this a million times. You can get a huge amount of damage here, but if you lose both of these dropships, you can absolutely put yourself in a terrible position. He loses one of the drops. That's huge kill there. He's gonna get the second dropship as well. Lurkers are gonna pop out. This is shut down. Huge win here for Hero.
Wow, this is actually a big tempo swing. Like, keeping this third base pretty much untouched and killing 2 dropships is crazy right now. And there's only 1-1 upgrades for the Bioforces, so he's actually not racing ahead in upgrades as Terran can usually be doing so at this phase in the game. But the 1 armor will make it a little bit difficult for cost-efficient trades, with those lurkers only hitting them for slightly less than half of their HP. So we'll be taking 3 shots to kill these Bioforces with the Mutas. Now can be catching some of these Mutas out of position. Does burrow these lurkers on top of this third base, but they're going to be cleared up by a beautiful spread of bio from Mind. So now Mind going to be wanting to come out onto the map and put the siege on the Zerg player as soon as possible. But the Defilers now started to hatch out. It's about 11 minutes mark as this consumer upgrade will become available to him. So now going to be able to use the Dark Swarms to delay the Terran player from breaking him. But with Irradiate, the Terran can lay siege to the Zerg now.
Hero has those two macro hatches here in the main base. He's grabbing his fourth as well, looking to secure that. Another thing to mention is, you go for those early dropships, your vessel count is lower than it should be, and he might get this. Oh, so close. If he'd killed that first vessel, one of those two first vessels, that would have been insanely good. Not able to get that. Gonna get a couple of irradiates down here, but still, Hero holding this position and holding that high ground as well. He's gonna get this fourth up, man, and he may end up going for a Hydralisk Defiler game as well. Just kind of the way that it's gone here, it's such a scrappy game. He might have to go for that. Great catch here on these Marines down at the bottom center as well. Gonna clear up, I think, all of them. No, whoa, actually getting wrecked there by those Marines. I thought he had enough lings, but he does not, and now going to be pushed back onto that high ground. I feel like there's a real fighting chance here for Hero, and Mind, although he got that really nice early game, build order advantage, hasn't really been able to do much with it.
Yeah, hasn't really been able to do much of it at all, saying. So far, Hero did a really great job of kind of negating that, and he really does want to try and see if he can set up this fourth gas, which will be huge for him. Once the Zerg gets the fourth gas online, it becomes a nightmare situation for the Terra, and they can start to afford Ultralisks and pretty much whatever they want at that point, and it becomes a bit of a nightmare situation for the Terran player. They'll be coming in here and sniping all these vessels with the Dark Swarm as well, gaining some more terrain in front of the natural expansion, giving more life into this idea of coming here and securing this fourth gas. Though Mind wants to say no to that and comes up onto the high ground from the low and just snipe that down while he still can, and ward away the Zerg from coming out here and denying that. But now here comes Hero trying to snipe all these vessels in the center of the map. So far, all of them is looking like they might go down. Slight issue with the splitting of the Scourge, though, so kind of botches that a little bit. Only gets 2 of the 3, but still a really great pickup from him. Killing those units is critical right now, but losing that fourth gas is a little bit frustrating.
Looks like he was going for Ultra here, so not going to be switching into Hydralisk Defiler. Losing that fourth gas is super painful, and Mind's actually securing his fourth base. He's going to be pumping out battle cruisers as well with 3 starports. He's playing this brilliantly. I really like what he did there with just irradiating all of the lurkers on that high ground and then breaking through and taking out the fourth base. It feels like Hero made a bit of a mistake, not covering that with an Overlord, not dealing with that properly, not having the lurkers stacked or anything like that. Looks like he's gonna get a nice plague here at least to shove back Mind, but it's a rough position, man. It's a very, very rough position now for Hero. I'm still cheering for him. I'm still hoping that he can bring this one back, but Mind is taking really strong control of this game now. He has lost a lot of vessels, and there are still more Scourge out here, which could be, getting some clutch snipes. Oh, he could have gotten that right there. That's so rough. It's really critical that he keeps getting rid of these vessels, because those are the things that are getting Mind the most value in this matchup.
Yeah, the vessels are pretty much the army of the Terran player at this phase of the game, and the Marines are basically just supporting those vessels and keeping them alive. So yeah, definitely really important to protect those at all costs. And right now, though, it'd be interesting to see if we can get this fourth base online for Hero. It's a little bit harder for Mind to come down here and challenge this with this sort of ridge in between. There's a Dark Swarm already placed there to deny the Terran player from just waltzing up there as well. So it'll be tough for Mind, I think, to deny this particular fourth gas. But there is another couple of dropship plays coming down to the 6 o'clock position to then float into the main base. So we're going to be seeing another drop into the main base while Mind distracts at the front as well, I think. So Mind going to be doing a little 1-2 punch. I think, though, that Hero spotted it with the Overlord, though. Is going to be coming in. Intercept. 2 Scourge are in position to catch that first dropship. A little bit of the turnaround with those dropships going to get some of those Marines off before they got caught. But beautiful catch from Hero nonetheless, and denying this drop from getting too much potency.
Yeah, and he's going for a counterattack here as well. Looks like Lurker's going to burrow under Dark Swarm over there at the 4th base here. trying to break through at the front, though. Hero's kind of left a bit of a gap in the defenses, but he does get one Dark Swarm down, and he has some Lings underneath that. The Marines are going to try to run through and gun down that Defiler, but we've got Ultra here, and the Dark Swarm is going to help him to defend this location. Everything's been cleaned up in the main. The command center is just about to go down. He does manage to save that at the last moment. Hero just barely holding on everywhere and dealing some damage now finally to Mine. This is huge swing in his advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Mine didn't make this 5 racks work for him. It was a very strong mid-game build, but he's kind of like didn't do enough with it. And now we got beautiful plagues being used by Hero on these clumps of bio units, and Hero's starting to turn this into a nice late-game power Zerg fiesta for Mine to have to deal with, and denying this base, for its 4th base from mining for quite some time as well. Denying this gas being available to Mine is critical in this matchup as well, while also getting his own 4th gas secured and starting to produce some Ultralisks maybe. I really am starting to like my Hero's position more and more, and Mine looks like he's in a little bit of trouble here and kind of struggling to keep up with the mechanics of a Hero.
Ooh, this command center is so low. Like 2 Scourge could have killed that, but he is gonna get away with repairing, I think, and getting that 4th base back online. But I agree with you. I'm liking Hero's position more and more here. He's got Ultras now on the field with that 4th gas rolling. The 5th gas is going to be coming up here pretty soon. He didn't get the 3rd attack. Oh my god. Mine making a huge mistake here. We don't have +3 attack, and I don't see an upgrade coming here either. Where did this Defiler come from? It manages to get over here to this base. Another Defiler pops out just in time, plagues everything, and throws down the Dark Storm to save this base. Oh god, Hero is playing a fantastic game, and I think we're gonna see him win this one. Oh, this is so amazing. I love it. I love that we're gonna see another match here. That we're finally gonna see, you know, Team Hero get another point on the board. This is incredible, impressive play from Hero. Mine falling apart. He's just about mined out in his main and natural, and there's almost nothing left for him here in this game. Hero just spreading out everywhere. All of these science vessels are plagued, and just now the first couple battle cruisers are coming out. I think Mine's kind of lost the tempo. He's lost the script in this game, man.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time for those BCs to make their way all the way. Oh, he gets the snipe on that Defiler. That's a big snipe. He's still in a little bit of trouble here, but that snipe is actually pretty huge right now. No Dark Swarm or Plague to worry about in this defense, which means he will mop up this force quite cost efficiently. He needed that Defiler to stay alive to make sure this force was going to be cost efficient enough. So it actually went a little bit Mine's way, and now with these BCs coming in and denying the gas mining of some of these bases, maybe there's a little bit of hope for him, but it's still tough because Hero has so much Ultras just shoving down his throat, and he's hitting at 2 locations at the same time. So Mine's not really mining at full optimization right now, and he doesn't have this +3 weapons upgrade. So even though these BCs are going to be denying some of this gas being mined, he isn't really going to be able to hold on to these positions for much longer. And once he gets these bases denied from being mining, he won't have the life left in his sails to keep going, and eventually Hero is going to be making him tap out his hand.
Yeah, there's no more mining here for Mine. He does manage to finally get rid of this this army down here at the 3rd base, but a Plague's going down. This Radiated Ultra just running through the Marines here. All of the forces popping out from Mine. He's right on top of the rally point here for Mine now. Ultra's getting right in on top of this. You can see streams of blue Zerg flying across the map here, and GG is called. Mine taps out. My Hero taking this game away and saving this series, bringing it to 4-2. And we're gonna go to that roulette wheel to find out which set will be replayed. That's coming right up. All right, taking a look at the bans here. Team Light gonna get rid of that Kahiri versus Hani matchup. Team Hero banning their own ladies match as well. Cadenzi maybe not feeling comfortable with, you know, her performance in that last game. It's unfortunate, but we're gonna have these male players fight it out here. One of these matches will be replayed. We're gonna go to the roulette wheel to find out which. Who are you hoping for here, Shun? Who do you hope to see rematch from?
Hero versus Mine. Hero versus Mine.
I'd be happy with a hero versus mind match as well. Light versus sharp could be pretty intense. Also, killer versus Saxfree is great as well. I mean, all of these matchups have been so good. Even Rune versus Mine was a really great match. All right, here we go. Spin the wheel and find out what the next match is going to be. Oh, set number 2. Rune versus Mong. Gonna be replayed here. This was a very close match. Mong almost managed to take that one away. Rune with the fantastic carrier play. Let's see how this goes in the rematch. Coming right up. Okay, rematch time. Mong versus Rune. This time, Mong gonna be in the bottom right-hand corner. How does this change the matchup, do you think, being in the cross position here on Retro?
It does kind of allow the Protoss player to get away with what they want to do if they want to just throw down that 12 Nexus. I also kind of feel like it prevents Terran from having to deal with some awkward expansion plays. You know, there's no like shenanigans they have to worry about with the third base alignment now. So I actually feel like this overall this favors Terran, despite giving the option of the 12 Nexus to the Protoss players on this particular map, just because of how the expansions are laid out.
I think I agree with you as well. I don't think carrier is as strong when you're cross map like this, because you know Mong can expand in 2 different directions, and the carriers can't really move through the middle of the map very easily. It's going to be important for Mong to hold that middle, and he should be able to on this map. Looks like Rune is going to go for that 12 Nexus you were talking about.
Yeah, I think he's wise to go for it either way, because even if it was cross, he can just like, you know, make it a little bit more of a safer variant to not worry about dying to any kind of bust. So going for this is definitely pretty safe on this map no matter what. But with the cross map position, it does mean Mong's probably not going to be able to punish this, which will be a little bit frustrating for him dealing with that going forward, but by no means a game-ending advantage, although Artosis is probably beg to differ.
Well, you know, Mong, he took a lot of damage from Rune last game with that low ground gateway, so he might be expecting that to come again. And actually, he is not building a gas here, so he's gonna go gasless. It's a little bit funny that he built the barracks on high ground if he wanted to go gasless. I really would have expected him to build it on the low ground and set up a bit of a better... Oh, he's gonna take his gas anyway. Huh. Doesn't want to get gas stolen here, but that's a pretty late gas. I think he's still gonna throw down the command center here and probably just mine with 1 SCV.
Yeah, I think so too. He's gonna just make sure he doesn't get that gas stolen, so he doesn't get the timing hiccup. Back in the day, there used to be this response where they'd mine from the natural expansion gas and have like 10, 12 SCVs all with a gas in their mouth right as the CC's about to finish, and they put all the gas back all in one go, and they then build the factory. And it's the most awkward, unoptimized way of building a factory after being gas on FC map. But yeah, it used to be the way of playing on Destination, and I can't believe that used to be a meta, but once it was.
Yeah, that's gone away for a long time. I do remember that though. That was an interesting time. We've got this eBay block here now. This doesn't really block too much except for the probes being able to mine efficiently on some of the main patches. It's something kind of like a matter pylon, right? It's the same sort of idea, just kind of slowing down the Protoss player from mining here on the natural, and this probe trying to get 1 single kill, but it you know, it delays a little bit of mining here. That was an interesting idea to send the 1 Marine across the map while the Zealot was dealing with the eBay block, but it's not really going to net Mong too much.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, so far this is looking a little bit Rune favored, just with the early advantage of the 12 Nexus, but with the cross map positions like we were talking about earlier, it's not going to be anything too significant. Mong can still definitely comfortably play from here.
We've got a Robo here in the main. Rune likely going to go for that Reaver play again, and we'll see if he wants to transition Reavers here into carrier once again. It felt very powerful. But of course, the map building or the map positioning, the spawn locations, not really favoring that as much as we were talking about. So maybe instead gonna go for speed shuttle, some Templar and drop play instead. but we will find out soon enough. Single probe down here in the bottom left. I wonder what he's looking for with this. Is he looking for like a hidden starport out here somewhere, or what's this probe for right now?
I mean, he might be looking for a ninja expansion. I mean, either a hidden starport for vulture drop or a ninja expansion, because I guess there's a small world where Mong throws down a hidden CC and like goes for a super greedy play to counteract the 12 Nexus. It's very unlikely, but maybe he wants to just double make sure.
Seems like he is doing that, right? He's gonna send the probe across map now all the way to the top right and just check to make sure. He's also throwing a pylon down in the bottom left as a bit of a spotter here. So it does seem to be concerned that Mong might go for something like that, and just checking with one probe, it doesn't cost you much, and it definitely rules out kind of a smart play that some Terrans can do. He actually didn't check the high ground, he didn't check the top left there. I guess he's going to throw the pylon first.
Yeah. It's wise though. I think you need. This is very smart from Ruin. There's no reason why not to invest this probe right now to check for this. There is a world where this is happening, and this could really cost him if he doesn't scout it. Whereas if he scouts it, it could be game ending and just win him the game right then and there. So it's a very good investment to use this probe at this present time to check for that right now. It also does rule out a little bit of the vulture drop potential as well, because if Mong was going for a very quick vulture drop, there would probably be a starport at one of these locations, and he's also checking the 12 o'clock with that probe as well.
Yeah, it is smart to scout all the bases on the map. If you've played enough ladder games, you get kind of used to doing that, because so many players will hide bases around the map that just sending one worker can save you a lot of ladder points. Just you know, having that out on the map and finding those bases can be huge. We've got the first shuttle coming in here. Should have a Reaver inside, just a couple Dragoons coming to the front as well. We've got a good number of tanks here, and it's going to be a Goliath defense, so not as a robust defense as the you know, less mobile turret defense, but there is the option, there is the opportunity to shut down this Reaver play completely, and he almost lost that shuttle there. If the range had been finished, he might have taken a lot more damage, but no Goliath range just yet. They're spread out here, waiting for this shuttle to come in. He's got the view on this natural. He's got to pull away these SCVs. Reaver drops, takes a big hit there, but I think this is going to dud. The Scarab not getting any damage, and that Reaver taking a lot of HP, losing a lot of that HP, becoming a lot less potent here.
Yeah, so far going Mong's way, and you know, weathering that storm, not really taking anything from that Reaver thus far. I mean, Rui did a good job of positioning the Reaver well. You need to place the Reaver right up against the mineral line to make sure that the Scarabs can quickly get over the mineral blocks and just have a higher chance of just making contact with their target. But even in that case, for some reason it dudded. I'm not sure if it was because it was targeted to the SCV train behind the tank, or for whatever reason it just didn't target onto the tank properly. But yeah, either way, going really Mong's favored there. We see now the tech starting to be come online from Ruin, getting the Templar archives and so on. But right now, it's looking like slightly Mong favored if you don't include the fact that it's 12 Nexus. The fact that it's 12 Nexus does still put Ruin in a very good position, but right now everything's gone Mong's way so far, besides the 12 Nexus opening.
Yeah, I think this is a great play as well for Mong, seeing that he picked off that observer there. Now it's so scary to fly in with that that shuttle. Yeah, there could be, you know, some Goliaths hiding in that main base, just waiting for the shuttle to come in, and that means Ruin's probably just going to use this defensively from now on. I think he's got 2 Reavers in there now. He should just be sitting out in front of this natural and waiting for Mong to move out. He's got some units on the high ground at the kind of natural third base of Mong, but Mong not taking things too quickly here. He's just going to grab another couple of factories, go up to 5 fact before he even tries to push forward, and I think that's a good play. That's a good understanding here. However, Ruin taking another base here, utilizing that early macro edge to just get more bases out here quicker than you regularly would be able to. We're only at, 9 minutes in. He's already thrown down his 4th base, and Mong not even close to being ready to push here. Looks like he is going to take one shot from that Reaver, but keeping all of his tanks alive so far, and he's going to get another Observer here as well.
Oh, wow. This is really interesting stuff. I mean, both players are actually playing quite phenomenally well, but Mong showing a slightly better understanding of the game state and really knowing how patient to be. He's very composed right now. He understands that he will be slowed down quite significantly by these Reavers and these goons waiting on the wings like this. Needs to be very tentative of how he comes out and doesn't want to be too sloppy about taking this 3rd base. He knows he needs to be really methodical right now and not allow any hope for Ruin to get any kind of free damage with these Reavers. And now pushing back this shuttle with the Goliath and putting some damage onto it, starting to get it into hull HP, so making it a little bit more scarier to use that shuttle and Reaver play a little bit aggressively to take out some of these tanks.
I like that that push forward there by Mong. Very tentative, very careful play from him, but Ruin is busting ahead here. He's got a lot of gateways up. He's got the double upgrades rolling. He has plenty of shuttles now, and I think this is going to be very difficult to take the high ground here at the bottom center. That 6 o'clock base, similar to what we see. Oh god, that scan just didn't quite see the Observer. He really wanted to pick that off. But this is similar to what we see on Fighting Spirit, right? This why we say this map is so much like Fighting Spirit is you've got this high ground. You can park a bunch of Dragoons up here, plus the Reavers. It's super, super difficult to take out. Is Mong gonna go for it, though? It looks like he's actually thinking about just doing an all-out attack here, ignoring this completely and going across the map. He's added on 2 more factories, and he's coming out with a very, very strong push. Rune is not in a position to deny this at all either. He's gonna start to shove across the map. Very scary moment here for Ruin as he's taking another base in the top right. Is really leaning into his macro edge, but will he have enough back at home to stop this push?
Yeah, I'm not so sure if he does have enough to stop it. I mean, right now, Mong is doing what he does best. He's just being an absolute monster of a macro machine. It's not, maybe get the snipe on that high tempo, not able to do so there. Has to back away, takes his units back into a more fluid ball, spherical shape. But now comes back out again, starts to take out some of these high Templars as they're unloaded out the shuttles. Beautiful Storms trying to counteract that, but not really making the best of the connections. So unfortunately not going to really be going too much favor for Ruin in these trades thus far, but has slowed down this push for the time being. Mong, though, very adamant in coming up here really aggressively and not allowing Ruin to take any inches away for free. He wants to make Ruin pay a big resource of trade no matter what ground he's taking from him, and keep constantly sniping these observers over and over again, denying the vision and make it very difficult to clear out these minefields, come out into these positions, and also identify exactly how deep the tank line is, making it very difficult to calculate when and when not to engage. So now Mong kind of all over the place right now with how he's controlling this game and denying the probe transfer to the northeast quadrant of the map as well. Kind of be affording him a nice little economic boon as well.
Ooh, losing the science vessel is very, very painful. You want to keep that alive. The ability to throw down defensive matrix is huge, very powerful against your storms, and a great mine connection there at 6 o'clock. Looks like Mom's gonna be able to take that base. He's not able to push this forward any further, though. He's just snagged the middle of the map, but Rune's managed to hold on to all of his bases. He hasn't been able to transfer probes up to the top right. That probe train was cut off, but I think that Rune is still fine here with a fully maxed out army. He's just looking for a good location to engage. Mong not giving it to him thus far, but I think Rune gonna keep looking for that. He should be able to find some location where Mong's just not quite strong enough to hold him back. Here we go. It's gonna be this area down here, not being able to snipe the Templar in time. They do get their storms off. He snipes the shuttle, though, with the Goliath. He's gonna get this observer as well. So Mong holds everything back, but some great storms were levied against him.
Yeah, one thing to be noted is not only is Mong denying this bottom left from being taken by Ruin, but he's also opening up for him to take himself, which he needs to do. He needs to keep his options open in this game for more expansions going forward. It'll be a lot harder for him to expand to the 3 o'clock unless he's going to be attacking on this vertical axis constantly, and that means he'll be open to this wide open center to being attacked at 6 as well. So really needs to be very thoughtful about how he wants to engage Ruin and force Ruin to engage his army head on. Right now, only 1-1 upgrades for Ruin. I think Mong's doing quite well in his upgrades on his Terran mech army. It's going to be very active with laying more and more mines, squeezing Ruin out of the center of the map, while Ruin trying to rotate around to the 12 o'clock position to come out onto the siege line. Beautiful storm and that big clump of tanks as well. They're so low HP, just one more storm would have finished them all off. Not quite finding those connections though, but there's enough Protoss infantry remaining of Zealots and Dragoons to come back out again. A lot of these tanks are already softened up, so these space disruptors could just come down here and wipe them out with some good trades, they're saying.
Oh no, this is Mong starting to fall apart here. He had the snipe on the first Templar, but that second drop Templar managed to get so much damage. Oh, this is not good. Mong losing his position here in the middle of the map. Ruin shoving him back, dropping his supply to just 116. That, I mean, he was doing so well. He was hanging on so well and really starting to split the map here. But his clump tanks in that situation really worked against Mong there. And now I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on. There's so many different spots that he kind of has to defend right now. He's trying to hold the middle. He's trying to hold the bottom left. He's got the bottom center as well. There's a lot of different vulnerabilities here for Mong, and he just doesn't have the supply to hold on everywhere. Only 130, 140 now to work with. That's quite a rough supply. He's taking the middle. Okay, he's gonna take the middle as his next base. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, he basically has identified that he needs to consolidate his forces. He has 140 supply, which is the bare minimal you need to hold on off a 200 maxed army, but only if it's a head-on assault like this. So he understands that the only place he can expand is the center, because that's where his army will be. So there is no other base he can take and reasonably hold on to right now.
Right, so he's gonna take that. Looks like gonna shove back these mines now. This is buying Mong some time to set up. He's got this position that is buildable in the middle of the map, so he's got some turrets there to help him hold on, but these storms are gonna be very brutal to deal with. Great mine connections here on a lot of these zealots, weakening them before the attack actually comes through. To big high Templar storms here, landing on all of these tanks. That's so much damage. We don't have a D-Matrix on any of these tanks to help them out. Now the Vulture's coming forward here. Maybe he can snipe a bunch of these Templar, making some Archons to prevent that from happening, though. That was about as good as you can get from Mong, given the situation. A lot of those mines connected. He didn't break the center. He didn't get storms on the SCVs. He cleared up quite a few of the tanks, but Mong still hangs on for now.
Yeah, I mean, this middle base it's not a lot, but it will be a lifeline while he starts to become mined out, and this natural expansion will allow him to continue pumping a few vultures and make sure he can still squeeze out enough tanks to remain relevant in this game. It's still going to be a very tough game for him to win, though. I mean, he is kind of pinned down right now by Ruin, while Ruin setting up larger amounts of infrastructure in the northeast quadrant of the map, more gateways going online as time progresses. And also this base will start to become mined as well, slightly increasing his economic curve further. We see a little shuttle play coming into the 6 o'clock location. See if it can hurt the economy of the Terran player with 3 turrets going to be shuttling it down, cutting it down. But 1 Templar gets out in time, but with a quick reaction from Mong, not going to be losing pretty much any SCVs to that. Yeah, really great play from Mong. They're not losing a single SCV, I think, to the storm from Ruin, which is going to keep him in the game. I still don't like Mong's position totally, though. Ruin is definitely in the driving seat right now, but there is still some small chance that Mong can force a head-on engagement from Ruin and then start to come explode out onto the map, start playing whack-a-mole of these expansions and taking them out one at a time, while also forcing his way onto containing one of the rally points and then just basically snuffing Ruin out of the game with one big movement. But that's going to be tough. He needs to kind of pull Ruin out of position, so he sees his tanks on the 9 o'clock right now going to be shelling this and trying to draw Ruin out from a hiding place, maybe.
I don't really like this 3-tank attack over here. They don't have any mines to help us out. We don't have any vultures here. We're just going to give away these 3 tanks basically for free. Only losing 1 Dragoon and maybe a pylon or something like that. That's rough. Ruin going to move around the right-hand side here. Looking for maybe a counterattack, but there are mines in the way, so Mong smartly shutting that down. Army being sent down here to the bottom left. Maybe we're going to try and take that base. We have to prevent that base from going down as Mong. We have to stop that from happening. That is our future here in this game, because the middle does mine out quite quickly with the number of SCVs that are here. It's not going to last forever, and he's only on one base, one true base mining down at the bottom center. Here comes the counterattack from Ruin. He eats a lot of mines, trying to pull that counterattack off, but he has forced back the army of Mong. It's going to have to come here to reinforce his natural, otherwise he could end up losing that. Would be very, very painful. He cannot lose this rally point right now. Coming around the side here, he's actually going to shut this down pretty darn well. That D-Matrix coming in very, very clutch. Lose a couple more tanks, but this has been a good defense from Mong, and after this, he's going to be able to come up this high ground, I think, and maybe take out the center right. Oh god, having tanks in range of those cannons is super painful. D-Matrix here going to keep that tank alive for another few seconds, but Mong, he does lose that. He's not able to break through on the center right, and we've got Stargates here now. He's going to start building carriers out of 5 Stargates. 5 Stargate carrier.
I mean, he's got the gas for it. He certainly can do it. He's been scanned though. He sees 2 of the Stargates. So those Stargates weren't actually spinning those. So he actually can't make. He hasn't got enough gas or supply to make too many right now. But look at this clumped up siege tanks getting stormed on the bridge. Not great news for Mong at all. Getting maximum value out of those. Meanwhile, coming in with a small contingency counterattacking the 6 o'clock location with some zealots and goons as well, being a little bit annoying to Mong and like forcing the reinforcements to stay back at home at the very least while coming in here, putting on some pressure onto the economy line of Mong, which is basically all he's got right now. This base and the center base is his only lifeline in this game, so any damage to that is going to be critical. So he wants to make sure he keeps some units here to defend this for the rest of the game. And right now Mong though kind of has a lot of units in this top right position, and he has nothing in his main base to defend against. This huge recall is just about to become online in his main base and start to gun down some of these factories and force all the units to come back into the main base. And there's some high tempers there as well, so with good storms as well, Ruin kind of putting the pressure on Mong as much as possible and kind of taxing him to the absolute limit of his multitasking ability, you're saying.
Yeah, he is so taxed right now. He's dealing with the attack in the top right, the base in the center right, but he's actually dealing with this recall incredibly well, killing off all of this. As long as Mong can hold on for a little bit longer, he can kill this base down here in the center right. He has to defend bottom center though. That army coming through could be deadly. He's pulled everything away from that location because of the recall. Ruin not getting on top of that just yet. He's gonna send that army up onto the high ground though. With the Templar there, it's gonna be so hard to clear this out. Mong's gonna be shut down on this base. This is huge. Oh, nice snipe! Huge snipe on that Templar. Big hit there. Getting rid of that Templar is going to allow these units to actually get up on this high ground. Maybe he can save this base and keep himself alive here, but Ruin is dealing some significant damage right now, and he's not lost that base in the top right either. He's still mining here on 2 bases, but he's totally mined out in the first 3 bases. Oh my god, this is so close.
It is very close. The fact that the natural expansion got knocked out in the top right does make it harder for Ruin to win this game. He does got a lot of money in the bank, and Mong has got his base in the bottom left as well, so neither player is going to lose anytime soon as long as they don't make any big misplays or try and invest in a very fruitless effort here. So it might be that Mong tries to maintain game state and tries to sort of pinch out Ruin from coming into the bottom left here and seeing if he can kind of split the map in half and taking it to a super late game and winning that way. But there's going to be a lot more recalls he has to deal with in the time being, and 6 o'clock might just be hit. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of zealots and goons coming into 6 o'clock right now. There's a big recall coming up on top of all 3 of these siege tanks. Here we go. The Arbiter does go down very quickly, but there's a big sizable amount of goons here. There's a lot of siege tanks moving into quick position from the low ground. They're going to be able to come in and help deal with this very efficiently if they keep leapfrogging up there. Nice D-Matrix went down the vultures to delay that, and some more units from the north coming in here to deal with this, but it's still taxing Mong to the absolute limit. 120 supplied to still the maxed out army of Ruin, so Ruin is still winning this trade slowly but surely, grinding down Mong to a nub if he can help it. Middle is also becoming mined out now, so Mong needs to get his bottom left mining, and he's been forced to float it. So right now Mong in a big trouble, not able to really keep up with the production any longer. He's dried up right now, saying here comes a big zealot train in the middle as well, cleaning everything up.
He loses this position, but the moment that those minerals mine out, so actually not going to be as big of a deal as it could have been. It is a very important position to hold here, but I think Mong going to be happy to just lift that command center off and send it down to the bottom left. He's sending his whole army down there. He is going to be so split up, so desperately thin on his defenses. Here comes another recall down to the 6 o'clock. He's going to be able to shut this down. Again, we're losing so many SCVs here, dropping below 100 supply for the first time. Mong is just about dead here. He's on the edge of defeat. He is going to be able to clean up this army, but he's lost so many SCVs. Can he actually come back in this? Can he secure the bottom left? It's going to be a desperate situation here for Mong. He's trying to take the center right. Maybe he's floated a command center over there. But he cannot allow Ruin to take bottom left. He just cannot allow that to happen. He has to somehow secure a base and stop Ruin from doing this with just 68 supply. I don't think it's going to be possible, Shun.
Yeah, not only that, but he's also got to stop Ruin from taking the natural in top right. So there's so many things he has to do. There's so many plates he has to spin, and he just can't. There's no way he can juggle all these plates right now. And look at all these SCVs just dying to the storm set. He's pretty much lost his entire economy down to 56 supply to 192 of Ruin. Ruin's done it, I think. There's a big siege line at 9 o'clock challenging this expansion here to try and clean it up. Some beautiful mine connections here as well, but I really don't think Mong can win anymore. I think it's just a pure numbers game at this point, and Mong, even if he can somehow secure this base in the bottom left, I think there's just too much for Ruin. There has to be like the worst fight we've ever seen in Starcraft history for Mong to win this game, I think.
Yeah, Ruin's gonna have to throw everything into mines right now and lose it all in order for Mong to have a fighting chance in this game now. It's a crazy supply deficit that Mong finds himself in, but really showing the tenacious play here, really proving his value to this team, sticking in there through it all. He's put up a great fight. Looks like one last storm drop gonna kill off the remainder of the SCVs. He actually doesn't have enough minerals to build one more SCV. If these are all killed, he literally can't build anything. GG. He taps out. Oh, what a game there. Crazy PVT to finish us off. But Team Light going to win this finals of the first half, guys, and securing their place in the grand finals to come. Well, the finals of the first half are finished. Team Light managing to take that one away. Team Hero putting up a fantastic fight, though.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. A lot of players there looked like they were down and out, but they really held in there, like Sharp, for example, against Light in that TVT, and then Mong against Ruin. Ruin's been playing like a very talented guy. I mean, we all know he's a bit of a brain box and he's very talented, but when he's on form, he's just so scary and like very creative and very hard to really deal with. And Mong actually like made a really big fight of it and made it really frustrating for Ruin to win, even though he had such a big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And props to Light for picking up Ruin, kind of seeing his potential there, grabbing that player and putting him in the matchups that he's going to be succeeding in. Of course, I imagine Light has been training him, giving him some tips, helping him to prepare for this match. So those two players working together, securing a couple of victories for his team, and Ruin really coming in clutch. Of course, you never know who's going to get hit with the roulette wheel, but I'm sure that Light's very happy that Ruin got selected there and manages to clutch that one out. Now, guys, we don't really know about the entirety of this format just yet. We know that Light has been seeded into the grand finals. The Team Light has been seeded into the grand finals. They've secured their position here with this win, but I'm not entirely sure if Team Hero, or what's going to happen with Team Hero, if they have a spot as well, or if they have to, play against Bisu, or if Team Bisu is going to get that spot. I've got the rules here to show you guys kind of what we're looking at. We've got, the first and second place winners of each half will advance to the playoffs. So that's, I guess it should be Team Hero gets that second place position, at least here in this finals, but we'll have to find out a little bit later on. Guys, we're going to go into the next half very, very soon. It's going to be started on the 30th of October, so we'll have that to you on the 31st or 32nd, I believe. Great matches here today. Really, really good. I think that Sharp versus Light match probably going to be one of my favorites of the year. Maybe even that last match with Mong, or excuse me, with Hero versus Mind. He pulled out a really big comeback there. So impressed with his play as well. Definitely deserves to be in the finals.
Yeah, honestly, I've been impressed seriously with both Light and Hero, and by the looks of it, of the rules, they will both be seeded in as well. So, looking forward to seeing more stuff from these two absolute powerhouse teams. And yeah, I'm really excited, saying this format could be quite exceptional once we start to figure out all the kinks.
Yeah, we will figure out the kinks eventually, guys. We're always trying to improve here. A little bit sad that we didn't see that super ace match between Hero and Light. Maybe we'll get it in the grand finals though, guys. That would be so hype. So make sure to subscribe, like the video. Go ahead and check out all the links in the description as well. Give some love to KCM. Give some love to Shun as well. He's been showing up here every week. Really appreciate him and his contribution here to the KCM. That's it for this week, guys. We'll be back next week with more KCM action. See you then.